Freedom Decrypted is sponsored by Think Penguin and Liberty Minded. Streaming live from our Keene, New Hampshire studios, this is your host, Christopher Wade, and introducing guest star, Duke. Hi, Duke.
Howdy.
Welcome to the show. We haven't, I don't think we've ever actually had you in studio before. But
Nope.
we did do an
First
interview at Fork Fest, this past Fork Fest, I believe it was.
I wandered into town and at that lovely time of year, and yeah, I'm trying to see what it's like here before Old Man Winter gets too cold.
Oh, it's gonna get cold. It's especially where you are. It's gonna get very cold.
There's snow on the ground out, not too far from here. There's snow on the ground already in little shady spots under the conifers. So
yeah, we got a little bit of snow in Keene actually too, and it definitely was cold last night. We went, we got
teens,
this
right down to the teens or something, the 20s. Or something?
Yeah, it was below freezing. It was or right around freezing probably, but
I'm sorry, Fahrenheit. We use this silly system called Fahrenheit here still. So yeah, cold.
Yeah, it's very, very.
I use Celsius as well, but the locals use Fahrenheit still.
It sounds like you're from some other country, but you're not, right?
I'm from the internet.
You're from the internet, okay.
And the internet uses metric, I would say. I mean, and as a scientist, I use metric, but as an American or someone who's born in the U.S., yeah, like I was taught feet and Fahrenheit, which make no sense. They're just bad systems. So,
all right. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
And... You want me to dox myself in your friggin' privacy show? What are you talking about? What do I come here for?
So feel free to. Well, I think we already gave out your first name, so, and I'm pretty sure we gave out your name on a prior interview that we did with you.
Who knows what what information was leaked? But yeah, I work on free software, open source stuff for about 23 years. I have code in a lot of things like Firefox, Bitcoin, Git, Perl, Zcash, a whole lot of things, like just a ton. I've been doing open source free software for really, really long time, and yeah, that's like what I do. I just found out how to make that my thing, and I've been doing it. So
now you've got some contributions to Bitcoin, I believe, and Hush.
Yeah, so I have contributions to Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoin core contributor. That's the term for someone that has any type of contribution, like officially in the code repo of the Bitcoin full node. You could be like, so for instance, you could write like a GUI wallet or something, not the core, and you would be like a developer, but you wouldn't be a Bitcoin core developer. So when I say Bitcoin core developer, it's a very specific thing. I have code inside of the Bitcoin full node that every Bitcoin server in the world runs. Like, it has a little bit of my code in it.
So I'm running some of your software on my system then. Cool.
Yes. You're also running my code in your Perl binary, which is in every Linux system on the world, and you're also running it in Git. So my code is in many places of all your servers. That might scare some people.
It scares me, to be honest. I'm not going to attest to your code quality because I don't know, but knowing you a little bit, I would say that just it's kind of scary.
I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah, I mean, I'll counter that with, everyone is running all this software on their computer, right? Like, let's say they like Linux versus Windows. And
there's a lot of scary software though. Just
very few people are reading the source code of the source they run.
I'm afraid to read it.
Or very few, or people are generating the binaries. They're trusting someone else to make the thing. So there's a lot of layers of trust there, and yeah.
It's Bob is just so freaked out by the whole system, and
I love Bob.
It's such a nightmare. He's like talking about how none of the code is signed, and it's like this. If it's not signed from upstream, what good does it do me to sign it downstream? It's like you can't trust what's in the repository. Yeah. And he's not wrong.
No,
he's not wrong.
Trust. The concept of trust is still such a hard concept in open source and free software. How do you trust that this code isn't backdoored? Like, yeah, it's a huge amount of work, and then for a volunteer run kind of small project, it's a real dilemma to decide, should I trust this contribution but might be weird stuff going on, or should I reject this possibly perfectly good contribution because it might have something wrong?
Yeah, I'm not even getting to that level. I'm just talking about like, was the code that was being submitted intercepted, or I mean, it's not even encrypted. Like the source code is just being published on a website unencrypted, unsigned, and you're supposed to download it. There's no Git repository.
Why should anyone trust github.com? Let me go further.
I wouldn't either, but it's like,
why should anyone go trust github.com? First of all, which is just Microsoft, which second of all is really, it's just the US government. Let's be honest. So let's say you're just like a student, normal student, wants to study something in the world. You're just a honest person, right? And you want to go and learn some open source code on github.com, which has become kind of like the hangout spot of open source and free software. When if you happen to live in a certain country, and there's many of them, if you happen to live in a list of certain countries, then something called geofencing happens to you. And geofencing basically means if your IP address is within a certain GPS coordinates, then you're a bad person and you don't get to see GitHub. And so if we use GitHub as free software and open source people, we're leaving out this huge part of the world that gets censored from GitHub. And that started with Iran super long time ago, I believe, and it's grown to all kinds of things and countries, and you don't even know. Like, who knows? Like, it's like whatever they feel like geofencing that minute, that's what they're going to do, and you don't even know what the real policy is. It's so I'm pretty much not a fan of GitHub.
Yeah, well, that makes two of us here. I know Bob likes to self-host, and he actually came up with it kind of got popular within certain circles. Don't fork me on GitHub, and it was in response to the fork me on GitHub banners that people have in the corner, and it's like, yeah, and yeah, it's unfortunate because a lot of people like don't know how, like, or they refuse to use any other system other than, like, if it's not on GitHub, they don't even know what to do, and it's like, and then they complain, and it's like,
well, they need to feel pain then.
Yeah, it's like it's I guess it's one good way to keep people out who shouldn't be coding in the first place.
I take part of the blame of this because I've been a Git consultant since 2008 or 9, I don't know, and I helped much a percentage of the world learn GitHub and go to it. I created the world's first Git user group in Portland, Oregon. I trained countless people in GitHub. VMware hired me to manage GitHub. So like, I went deep inside the Borg. The first day on the job, VMware asked me to do illegal shit, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, so
oh, I gotta hear this story.
Seriously, like, they were deleting GPL licenses from BusyBox, and they asked me to do it, and they told me not to talk about it, and they told me don't email about it because e-discovery, Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all stat. VMware has been doing that so long. I mean, I tried to tell people for so long. I think that they did lose some type of court battle with regard to BusyBox. So
the German one?
VMware's a piece of shit.
In Germany, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that?
Yeah. So I actually know. It's funny that you're talking about this because I actually know. I actually know the people who were who did that lawsuit, who took the part in that lawsuit.
Oh, I know them too.
So you do? Okay, oh shit, what's
Bradley?
His name? Yeah, Bradley Kuhn and not the guy.
Of all the people that's gonna know Bradley Kuhn,
yeah,
is it gonna be me? Is it gonna be that maybe we went to like Google conferences all the time, and oh yeah, we're
does Bradley go to Google conference? I didn't even know.
Anymore.
Oh, okay.
But both of us were part of Google.
Was he banned from Google conferences?
No, both of us were part of Google Summer of Code, and we would both give talks at the Google Summer of Code conference. So I think I met him at many other conferences, but we would always see each other at the Google Summer of Code conference, and that was like 7 years in a row or something crazy. So
I see him at so many different events. So he goes to I know he goes to a lot of events.
About what the Freedom Conservancy is that what he works for?
Yeah, the Free Software Conservancy.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. Nothing but good things to say. I mean, they help they help people like us, developers and business owners that are trying to do the right thing with free software, open source stuff, and not be the evil people like patent trolls
Yeah, just don't
and
talk
all that.
politics with him because he's definitely not of
I don't need to agree.
similar
Yeah,
mind
yeah.
set on things outside of free software.
He is a super old school Perl hacker too. I just gotta say, he's like,
Oh yeah,
Perl hackers are a special breed. Jaff's just another
yeah.
Perl hacker. Bradley Kuhn's is an old school Perl hacker, so he's respected because of that. And he basically he enjoys hacking the law. Uh, he
Oh
enjoys
definitely,
he
yeah.
enjoys open source, but
He's not
hacking
a
it.
lawyer, but he's definitely
He's as much of a lawyer you could be as a coder, but yeah, he's interested in the interface of law and code.
Yeah,
and
he's like the guy who interfaces with the lawyers for the
Yes,
developers, so that we don't have to.
If you're a developer that doesn't want to talk to pure lawyers, like if you can think of someone as like 100% lawyer, and if you're a developer and you're like, I can't talk to people who are 100% lawyer, you want to talk to Bradley Kuhn, because he's the guy that can bridge the gap of he is a real developer. Like, he's not just pretending. Like, he's a real dev, but he's also like a real lawyer, and he'll do the thing. He'll bridge the gap for developers that might not want to ever talk to 100% lawyer people, because that's no fun. Oh boy, lawyers.
Are you familiar with their free software? I believe it's the Free Software Conservancy's.
I was part of. So let me explain a
Conference?
little bit. So
Copyleft
I was
conference?
part of the Parrot Foundation, Parrot Virtual Machine, for many years. That's kind of related to Perl 6. Bradley Kuhn is also did work in that, and so that project was part of. We got help from them. I can't remember the exact structure, but Parrot had a 501c3 foundation. I was on the board of that foundation, and I believe SFC, the Software Freedom Conservancy, was the umbrella organization that helped. Oh, look, VMware lawsuit right there. Awesome. So yeah, when I started on VMware, I was like a naive,
Yeah, it was
Christoph
Christoph.
Hellwig. I think I know him too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Dude, wait, he's my ex-coworker, I think, Christoph Hellwig. But that's a common name. Is he a German?
Yeah, he's German. Yeah, this guy's a German. That's why they brought it in Germany, I believe.
Oh.
And
well, he was the writer of BusyBox.
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
So when I started working on VMware, it was for Cloud Foundry. I don't even know. I think Cloud Foundry is like some big thing now. It's like enterprise software as a service, like infrastructure as a service.
I think they ended up losing on some technical ground on this one.
That's shitty, because
I recall
when
correctly.
I first started there, literally, like my grand boss, or it was very weird because I had like 7 bosses. You always know it's bad if you start a new job and they don't tell you have actually not 1 but 7 bosses, And then like one of my 7 bosses was like, yeah, there's lawyers going crazy. We're deleting the GPL from all this BusyBox stuff. If you could not talk about that, that would be great. And if you could write this automated software to go delete GPL licenses from all these code repos. And I was like, that sounds really dicey. And I ignored him, and someone else wrote it. So I'm glad I didn't write it.
Yeah. So
see, you have to have morals as a developer. One day, someone might come back and say, your boss was doing something illegal, and you followed him, and now you're in trouble. Or I always try to have my own morals. Like, I have to think it's not wrong, at least, so.
Yeah. So today, Christoph announced
awesome.
the conclusion of his case against VMware in Germany.
The
Hamburg Higher Regional Court affirmed the lower court's decision, which dismissed the case on purely procedural grounds.
Oh, well, maybe Bradley Kuhn will hear this and contact me, because I'm sure he's busy and I've been busy.
Oh, I don't think he listens or watches the show. It would piss him off so much.
Oh, he's smart.
Oh yeah. If he does, hey Bradley, sorry for pissing you off so much.
Hey Bradley.
Yeah, not to. Yeah, so they're not gonna. Apparently, they're not appealing this either. Which is what I recall.
That's cool.
Telling me.
I think it's good that the world knows that I'm saying that this is true. That I was asked to do illegal stuff instantly as I began working on open source code at VMware. So we have to assume that's always going on, and that they don't learn their lesson. They didn't get spanked here in any way legally. So obviously they're gonna be doing that all the time. So never trust VMware. Never trust VMware, and never trust VMware.
Yeah, and it's I don't know what I mean. I guess VMware is still
you have to use it in some circles, like if you're doing certain things,
virtualization.
yeah. But in terms of like a service provider, like let's say if you're running a startup and you're gonna like run all your VPSs out of VMware, like I wouldn't use them.
Why would you do that? I mean, there's Zen.
People are dumb. I don't know.
Some others. There's a couple of different options nowadays, and they work great, and they have support for hardware and everything, acceleration and everything. It's not like back in the day. I remember back in the day where like VMware was it basically, because
when I worked there, it was very different. It was like 9 years ago or something. 9 years ago. Wow.
Well, how times have changed. It's way different now.
The cloud was brand new. It was like the cloud.
right. There's even better, like there's VMware and there's VirtualBox, but like there's even better solutions now. Where there's actually,
it's just that
not
the
crap
VMware
code.
is built on a licensing model. Like they charge you a tax. Like like your software stops working unless you put in the code for the tax. Like
Well, I mean, the thing that bothers me is not the price of it. It's the
smart business model.
The sources. They don't give you the source code.
It's a smart business model. I don't contest that. It's a very lucrative. The first day on the job, they're like, we have a 27% profit margin. I was like, wow, like that's okay. Like they know what they're sitting on. Like
when there's a zero cost or very close to zero cost.
They're literally selling numbers that unlock the thing that has no cost. They have a fixed cost, but they sell like almost
there's a development cost, but there's not a per unit cost. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I think of
I remember something. All the default passwords VMware, they're cash cow, right? Oh, right, yeah. All the default passwords inside the VMware internal network are cash cow, and the S is a $, and the O is a 0.
Wow.
Yeah. In case they haven't changed that, someone should really use that. Okay.
I'm not sure.
That might be a joke. It might be a joke, but
sure
it might
it's
not.
A good idea.
I mean, that was 9 years ago. I mean, I know I have a good memory, but maybe I don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's such a good idea to be going. Like, did you sign contracts and things with them that they could eventually hold you to for like revealing?
Oh nope. They tried
to.
No, they tried to make me do that, and I didn't. So that's why I have this freedom.
Interesting.
Yeah, they tried to. They were going to give me $14,000, but then even my children could never talk about these things. I was like, fuck you. You're not gonna tell my children what to do. You're not gonna actually tell me what to do. So I ignored their money, and now I can say whatever the fuck I want about them.
So wait, was this for?
This is 9 years ago.
After you left, or was this before you signed a contract to begin with?
What do you mean?
Well, when they were looking to hire you, is that when they put the $14,000 up front, not to say anything, or
the end? No,
NDA
at the end. No,
it was at the end. So did they didn't have you sign any NDAs in the beginning? Because I would think a corporation
I didn't. I rejected them. I broke the whole system.
And they still hire you.
Let me.
It's interesting because you're not the only person who does this, and the fact that you're connected to Bradley doesn't surprise me that you did do this.
If you walk in there and you're like, of course I'll sign an NDA, they'll have you sign it, right? If you walk in there and you're like, I'm the most well-respected GitHub person in the that you can even find right now. You're hiring me to run your GitHub. I'm not signing any NDAs. And they're like, okay, yes, thank you. Yeah, okay. So you tell your employee what you want, if they're telling you what they want, then they're in control.
It's interesting. I suspect most, and I don't know this, but I suspect most developers have probably signed an NDA at some point. I've never. Most people have probably signed an NDA that have any kind of real job.
I don't know that I've ever. No,
I've never signed an NDA.
I have a principle to never sign an NDA. So if anyone is gonna
but that's unusual, right? Like
it is. Like, but it's required for someone like me because I'm a pure free software. Like I consider myself open source citizen, free software, and that means if I sign one NDA, it's like I have to keep a secret that might hurt an open source project. That it's a conflict of interest.
You could end up compromising.
It's a conflict of interest to sign one NDA and then work on many things. It's inevitably it's going to create that. So I basically keep my life simple and just say I'll tell everyone right now, I'll never sign an NDA. So if you want me to work for you and you need an NDA, don't even contact me. Just save me a fucking few seconds of talking to you. So I won't sign any.
So what's going on with the news here? I don't even know exactly what the news is. I just know I forget exactly what it was, but I was talking about this a little bit. Somebody was telling me, you sent me a
What
bunch
do
of
you know?
links.
I want to know. I want to know what your
In the mic. In the mic.
I want to know what, from your perspective, from your world, what the heck do you see? What is going on?
I don't know. I don't recall, but I remember last night talking about this with somebody else who was giving me
What
a
were
better.
they saying? What? Tell me, like, what were they saying? What's your?
Geez, what were they saying? So I remember it ended up sounding way more exciting than the couple of links that you sent me, and I didn't realize.
I'm really bad at marketing. Like, literally, I will just say that 10 times.
Yeah,
like, I'm so
you sent
bad at
like
explaining.
3 or 4 links, and I'm clicking on this. I'm not.
And you're like, what is this garbage?
I briefly looked at it, and I didn't really read it. I just was like, okay, I don't know what this is, but anyway, and then I'm talking to Ian, and I co-host Free Talk Live with Ian on Fridays. So I was talking to Ian like in between the show, I think it was, and I'm hearing something about Hush going on and some sort of exchange, I believe it was.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. There's literally, I work on Hush like nonstop, so there's always like privacy coins is constant shenanigans.
What is Hush? Let's back up a moment. What is Hush?
Oh, it's a coin. You can mine it. You can buy it. You can use it.
So it's a cryptocurrency.
It's a cryptocurrency. Yeah, it's a crypto coin.
It's an anonymous private cryptocurrency. Okay, so it's sort of like Monero.
It's a crypto coin like Monero. It's
better, right?
It's a mixture of Monero and Zcash. Is the simplest way. A lot of people hate that description, but I think it makes people ask the question why. Why?
Yeah, why Hush? Why Hush? Right?
Well, why is it a mixture of both? It's based on Zcash, but it has influences from Monero, so that's why I describe it as a mixture of both. And we compete directly with Monero, and Zcash, it works directly with the police. I mean, I could tell you directly with that stuff, but they're worthless. Zcash is worthless. They work ZEC, Zcash. They work directly with all the people you don't want to work with and have your privacy. So there's just no reason to use that coin.
It's interesting. I recall that Hush came out of a couple of universities and had a lot of backing, and I think the math behind it was
You're talking
solid.
about Zcash.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yes. And so that is
so
that
should
why,
I tell so
is that why you guys based off of Zcash in part, or?
Yeah, I would say so. Let me. Hush was one of the first coins based off of Zcash, and 2016. We launched in November of 2016. So one of the, not the oldest, but one of the older crypto coins. And then so our 4-year anniversary is coming up in a few weeks here, and that's our halving. So our block reward is halving at the end of the month.
Cool.
So I can show that. Can you pull a little browser tab? Can you do it at myhush.org/halving? And now I'm so happy I wrote this shitty JavaScript. It's amazing how some shitty. Oh, you missed an H. My hush. Yeah, it's amazing how some shitty JavaScript.
All right, myhush.org/what?
Halving, HALVING. Yep, that should give us some stats. Okay, 29 days, 21 hours, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds. That's the current estimate. So the halving is going to happen at block 340,000, and it means that instead of every 2.5 minutes there being 12.5 hush, we're going to have 3.125 hush every 75 seconds. I can't begin to tell you how complex that code change is. And I spent months and months and months on it, but it's all groovy to go now. And so when this goes live, Hush gets twice as fast, and we have enforced privacy. So we become like Monero. Yeah, we become essentially the same as Monero. And then we also become twice as fast, because right now we have in 2016 it was actually considered fast. 2.5 minute block time was considered fast in 2016 because Bitcoin is 10 minutes, right? That was 4 minutes faster, but now it's even considered still slow. So we're speeding it up again, and it makes, for instance, chatting faster. So if you want to use the blockchain for chatting back and forth, waiting 2.5 minutes for a chat to arrive, it kind of sucks. So 75 seconds becomes a lot more usable, and it also increases the bandwidth that the coin, like the transactions per second that it can handle. I think I calculated it. I believe it's like 55 transactions per second we'll be able to handle once we go to the new.
That's substantially more than Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is 7, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I mean, a lot of coins will like give you that stat and like not explain it, but Bitcoin is every 10 minutes and it's only a 1-minute block at the size. In megabytes, it's a 1 megabyte block. So 10 minutes, you get 1 megabyte. That's what it's all about. TPS, transactions per second, is literally exactly determined by 10 minutes and 1 meg blocks. So Hush has 4 megabyte blocks, bigger, right? 4 times bigger. And then we right now we do every 2.5 minutes, but we're going down to 75 seconds. So all those multipliers of being faster and bigger give us that amount more TPS.
So it's interesting, like comparing it to I think back up a moment. So Zen, I know Zen had both private and public.
They have both.
Both, right? And
they are one of the older Zcash coins. I have contributed code, so if you do run Zen or use it in any way, every exchange in the world it is running some of my security fixes to Zen. So you're welcome.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that once on.
They're nice, Zen. I like
Fest,
Zen.
right?
They actually paid me a bounty for fixing the bug, unlike a lot of coins, which will either just ignore it outright or literally take it, merge it, and ignore you. Which teaches developers like me to just not submit security bugs to them.
Interesting.
Yep. What else can we talk about here? Hush. I mean,
yeah.
So Hush has Hush Chat. That's kind of huge and big. Like so. For instance, I like to compare Hush to like BitTorrent. Like, imagine if BitTorrent and Tor like had like a LSD trip and kind of went in the woods and had a baby, and new technology came out. Like something like Hush Chat would happen. So Hush Chat is decentralized, censorship resistant chatting, and you can store data, and it's gonna change some things.
So I'm curious, talking about the number of transactions a second, it is that's 55 is, what was it, 55 you said it was?
I mean
somewhere around there.
Let's just call it 55, because I'll tell you there's some estimating going on. For instance, you have to estimate the average size of a transaction. It could vary a little. Call it 55. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. So 7 transactions is nothing, and 55 is nothing too.
Let me blow your mind though. Actually, I see where you're going.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm going down this path, and I'm very curious as to what your perspective is on scaling.
Let me tell you scaling, because obviously I solve problems before people think about them. So Hush has something called Hush Smart Chains. There's a GitHub repo for it if you want. Sadly, we still have everything on GitHub. But do you want to pull something up while I talk?
Yeah, let's go for it.
I always can tell you URLs. So it's github.com/myhush, and then what the heck was I just telling you about?
I don't know.
No, like you just asked me a question. Click that. Just hit enter. We'll see something.
The how many transactions a second to scaling is what we're talking about.
Oh, right. Okay. Hush Smart Chain. So if you scroll down, you probably see the link. So just scroll down and we'll see some stuff. White paper. Keep going here. Wow, we have a lot of stuff. All right. I'm sorry. Maybe you should type it in up there. We have like 70 repos. I'm sorry. Yeah, just put another slash in there and then type in hush-smart-chains. Yeah. So Hush Smart Chains. This is how we scale. You can create your own coin with one command. We're gonna make a GUI or something like it. We can only do so much, people. But if you want to help people make their own blockchains with one command or one GUI little thing, like, we have the tech to do it. So this is how you scale. We believe in multiple blockchains. We believe in spinning up as many chains as you want. So we like to say the future is multi-chain. That's how we scale. So let me tell you how we scale is that, let's say Alice and Bob want to have a lot of conversations, a lot of chatting. Maybe there's lots of Alice's and lots of Bobs, but let's just say they want to do a lot, Alice and Bob, and we want a lot of TPS or whatever. They're going to spin up their own temporary blockchain to chat, and that they also are not leaking their metadata to the public chain, and you essentially can get as high TPS as you want, because you can just spin up as many chains as you want. Each one will max out at, let's say, 55 TPS, but like just spin up as many as you want. See, we don't believe in the Bitcoin way. The Bitcoin way is there can be only one. It's like the Highlander. It's like BTC or death. Like BTC or death, BTC or death, mainnet or death, mainnet or death. Like there can be only one. Like that's all they believe. Like there can only be one chain. That's not how Hush operates. Like we are all about making as many chains as possible, and that's one difference.
So how I'm trying to
scroll down a little bit, dude.
um
You have like no. Your font is like a super old person. Come on, you're like weren't showing the thing. Yeah, go scroll down a little more. Yeah, let's stop.
right.
See that like, I mean, it looks like 3 lines, but that's just one line. Let's count that as one line, right?
Okay.
That starts a whole. That creates a whole. Copy. Do select it or something, dude. That creates a whole blockchain. Yeah, that right there, like that makes you a Satoshi friggin's cousin. Like if you can figure out how to use that command, you don't have to write a 500,000 lines of C++ code. Like believe me, it's a huge innovation. It's like it's getting a huge toolbox for like to create coins, and there's like a million features. So that just shows a few tiny little features. So for instance, it creates the name. It says AC name. Are you kidding? That's a bit of a joke. Supply equals 0. That means that at the beginning there's 0 coins, which you could create more than 0 at the beginning or not. Then it tells you how often the halving is. Okay, AC private equals 1. That is like Hush going full privacy, Z to Z. That's like a huge feature. I mean, but just by setting private equals 1 right there, you're unlocking this huge amount of code and all this time and effort of many people, and more than me, making sure that works. And you could like literally start a company on it. You could just start, let's say, a group for your college or your town or just your friends, or it's very flexible, and there's no taxes. This is not Ethereum. There's no taxes. Like if you do that right there, Hush will never know. You could create it. We'll never know. We'll never know the name, and you'll never pay us anything. It's free software. You have to maintain it all. You have to do everything, but there's no taxes. So that's our philosophy.
So I got a question for you. So how is this supposed to work in the real world? Like if there's all these forks, it becomes really complicated for users. If I have one version of Hush,
you don't
and somebody
you
else
don't
has
think
a
about
different
no. You're
version of Hush.
thinking about it wrong. So look, this is all behind a GUI, and you don't even know any of this happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
how is the value determined? Would it not be per chain?
Well, here's one thing. First of all, Hush is speak and transact freely. It's all about using the coin. We're technology to be used. It has a value every day.
Right, but how? I mean, is the value different between different chains? Because isn't that
those are different chains. Those are totally different chains, and those have different values. Those
right,
are different
right.
coins.
Okay, so then how if I have
they'll have exchange rates to Hush. So for instance, so here's an example. Hush mainnet, we're gonna have image support in Hush chat soon. So for instance, you're gonna be able to like send your boyfriend, a picture of like, hey, like, there'll be image support in Hush chat soon. It's gonna be huge, right? Only 200 kilobyte images will be supported at first. It's essentially like a denial of service to allow huge files on mainnet. So what we're going to probably do is like launch another Hush smart chain, right? As an example, maybe it'll be called like Hush files or something, right? And that will allow maybe larger files. We're not going to allow infinitely large, because that's for like IPFS or other stuff. But maybe we'll allow like 4 megabyte or maybe even 16 megabyte. I don't know. Like there's logistics to prevent attacks, so we can't allow it to be too big. But and then Hush file, maybe people would buy Hush file with Hush, so there would be an exchange rate. Maybe it's 10 Hush file token, coins for one Hush. It could be mineable, it could be not mineable. You get to decide. If you go back to that thing there, so that is it defaults to being mineable, so that makes a mineable coin. That's it's doing so much. I mean, it's literally, that's taking all of Satoshi's work, all of Zcash's work, all of work that I've done and other people, and putting it all at your fingertip. And so Hush is trying to make stuff easy for people. Like if you had to do it all yourself, you're never going to have the time or the inclination. But if you can like get over the hump and just work on what you want, like the cool thing that you want, and get all this baggage for free, that's so it's like a toolbox to create stuff. And Hush smart chains. So one thing is like, let's say you want to make a private mailing list. Let's say you don't want to leak all your metadata on Hush mainnet, which is very smart, and you want to create your own chatting playground, right? You can do that. You can create, let's say, Freedom Decrypted chain, and then it would literally, you could chat on it, and it doesn't have to have a financial value. It could, okay? If you do want to have it a financial value, I'll tell you, it's going to cost money because you need to protect yourself against mining attacks, and it's miners are not all, you know, Bambi and happy-go-lucky. Like, miners will attack your shit. Like, so miners, miners gonna mine.
Yeah, I'm still not sure I fully understand how to use it as a cryptocurrency. If it's
I think that you're limited to thinking that cryptocurrency has to have a financial value on a centralized exchange, and that is not how I believe in the world. So I believe in a world where centralized exchanges are a disease and they're going to go away soon.
I'm not a fan of centralized exchanges by any stretch of the imagination. It could be a decentralized exchange, right? So, what I'm trying to understand is the wallet somehow able to scan? Is I guess what I'm trying to figure out is once you have a Hush wallet, let's say, right, or supports Hush.
Tell me this question.
Does this then, can I then send Hush to any other Hush wallet regardless of what chain it is?
That's a really good question. You're a very smart technical person, and here's the thing.
Is it easy for me to send and receive any Hush chain?
Yes.
So it doesn't even matter what.
Look at how amazing.
Yes. Okay. So this actually maybe works.
Interoperable. Interoperable. Every chain is interoperable. Let me tell you why. When you create this is going to blow some people's minds. So when you create an address on any coin, right, no matter what crypto coin, anyone in the world, when you create an address, that actually is creating something called a public key. All right, it's just a number between 0 and 2 to the 256, a very big range. Okay, and that actually gives you power and ownership of an address on every single blockchain that exists. That public key can be taken to Bitcoin and Zcash and Hush and Dogecoin, all these places, because the math, the internal math, the elliptic curve that all these things, Bitcoin protocol, they all use the same elliptic curve. So Monero does not. So you cannot take a Bitcoin public key and take it to Monero. It doesn't give you an address. But for instance, a Bitcoin public key, it gives you a Zcash address. It gives you a Dogecoin address. It gives you a Dash address. It gives you a Zen address. Like thousands of coins, you own that,
right?
And that's because you own that number. Like,
interesting.
That public key is in such a big space between 2 to 56. It's like you own it on all chains, because the rarity of owning that number, you could just import it to any coin. So that kind of surprised me at first. I was a bit surprised when I first, being like a developer, I was like, whoa, like when you own an address on any one coin, you actually own that address on all other like supported coins that use the same curve. So you can literally take, it's not a good idea because you leak metadata, but you can take, like, let's say your Bitcoin address, take the pub key, and you can like figure out the equivalent like Dogecoin address, and it will look different because Dogecoin addresses have a different.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how does this equate to like the protocols for actually sending and receiving?
So every address, every coin, they have something called base 58 prefix. If I go too deep, you have to tell me. All right. So
no. Okay. I think you're fine.
Okay. So for example, Bitcoin is special, and what you do is you prepend a 0, and then you take the base 58 of the whole pub key, and base 58 is like all letters and numbers except some weird ones that cause problems. So base 58 is the format of Bitcoin addresses. It's actually called base 58 check, but whatever.
All right, so I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question in relation to this. Have an opinion that you may have an opinion on this that is far better than my knowledge of any of it. The Pay protocol. Are you familiar with it?
Which protocol?
The Pay protocol.
Pay?
Yeah.
It's very ambiguous. Wait, what? PAY?
Yeah, it's called the Pay protocol. No. Okay. So
I mean, maybe, but that's so ambiguous that it's not ringing the bell.
So it I'll describe it for you, I guess. So it basically enables a merchant to accept payment but they don't actually ever hold the crypto or the. Let me phrase this: the intermediary that acts as the
Oh, is this like a BIP or something?
uh
Is this a Bitcoin improvement protocol proposal? I mean, a Bitcoin
um
improvement proposal.
maybe
Is
I'm
this
I'm
like
not.
is this like URL? Like, what does it look like?
So it's yeah, there's an actual URL in
Okay,
the
it's a it's called a no
protocol.
no I know it's called a
I thought it was the pay protocol.
yeah, that's maybe some I don't that's not what I know it by then. Maybe I'm not sure.
I believe BitPay is using it, and
Okay, it's
AnyPay is now using it.
payment requests. I think in Hush world and Zcash world we call it, I think, a payment request. So I think they just call it payment protocol at BitPay or something. So okay, I mean every coin comes up with like different names
Different
for
naming schemes.
similar
I understand.
stuff. So
So basically, the way it works and is instead of it basically so okay so in a typical uh in BitPay, so BitPay is an intermediary for businesses to accept cryptocurrencies, right? AnyPay, basically
and
the same thing.
and they are pretty much the first ones to support BCH, Bitcoin Cash, right? I mean
They definitely
that's their
accept.
claim to
That's
fame.
that's
I
the
mean,
second cryptocurrency that they accepted.
I
Correct.
mean, I'm just saying that's their claim to fame that they.
I don't know if they were the first to support Bitcoin
Oh no, you're
Cash,
probably
but
right. They might not have been the first, but in terms of at least U.S. companies and stuff, they were.
it's why Bitcoin Cash is so successful.
Yeah,
I think
they were the
BitPay.
first U.S. company I think I know of that supported BCH. So there may have been like Asian exchanges and other stuff that did it before.
They were yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to guess, but they're pretty much there's like two companies that matter in the crypto world as far as merchants are concerned. That's AnyPay, BitPay, at least in the
AnyPay, they love me. They're my best buddies. I party with them all the time.
And there is actually
not true.
I would have believed it actually.
I know,
because
that's why I had
you're
to,
in
like,
New Hampshire.
That's why I had to like dox myself because I was joking.
They're in Portsmouth.
Yeah, no, they're a cool company. They just don't like me because I have strong opinions, but they seem to be a cool company that supports a lot of coins.
I don't know who doesn't like you, but I know Steven
Komodo
is...
KMD doesn't like me because they fucked with Hush, so they're probably unhappy.
You know, one thing I have to say about
so sorry, I'm trying to stick to the not the bad words.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One of the people... That's all right. One of the people in... Or one of the things I have to say about the people in our community is that they are all very unique individuals, and
wait, are you calling me unique?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, you're definitely unique.
My own community members made me verify that I was the real Duke Leto recently because I was asking them to do weird stuff. So
yeah. Anyway, so Steven is he can be a bit difficult to communicate with.
No, I respect people that are like strong and hard to get along with because that's me too. Like so I respect people that are like that. And yeah, so AnyPay is, I would just say, like, it's a cool company because all the local businesses use their point of sale to accept pretty much any coin. Like you can walk into all different kinds of businesses around here and just pay in weird coins. Like, and AnyPay is pretty much the reason because of that. So I respect them. They're doing good work, so keep on doing whatever you're doing. And I don't work for them, they don't pay me, they don't even like me, all right? So I'm complimenting them because they provide a service. All right?
Yeah. So anyway, the pay protocol is basically it's a URL, and it basically
I know just so you know, I know exactly what you're talking about. You do not need to explain it to me, but maybe
I'm gonna explain it for people who are
smart.
listening or watching the show.
Okay.
So the pay protocol is basically this protocol where instead of sending your crypto to a wallet, basically you're still sending it to a wallet, I guess, but you're not sending. So normally if there's a intermediary, accepting crypto for the merchant, you would send it to the intermediary, all right?
Escrow.
And then the intermediary,
like
sort of, and then it would be forwarded to the merchant.
It's very similar to escrow, like for instance, paying your real estate taxes. If you are someone that pays real estate taxes, you might have something called an escrow company, and it's very, very similar.
I'm not sure if it really is escrow because there's no
it is.
Escrow.
I can explain it to you right now.
Well, I mean, usually escrow is to protect like both parties from like deceitful stuff going on.
Okay,
it doesn't really go on with.
I'm not sure what definition you want to have for escrow, but from a
Yeah.
developer perspective, like let's say someone implementing like a smart contract or any kind of financial system, that's it's that system. The thing you're trying to explain to me, it's like it creates a middle ground where if something messes up, it goes back. So let me explain. Like Alice and Bob, right? And Alice wants to send Bob something, and if Alice does something shady or Bob messes up, it goes back to who it's supposed to go instead of there being some way for like maybe Alice to screw over Bob or Bob to screw over Alice. So it's a way of not having to have as much trust. There probably is some, but it there's ways to do this. And basically it's kind of like the Lightning Network a little bit. Like imagine if you took some ideas from the Lightning Network and just took and used them on regular
You're
network.
talking about the pay protocol? It's like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Believe me.
There's not a second chain though.
I know. It's
Okay.
it's hashes. Oh, your mouse battery is low,
Well,
dude.
that explains why I'm having issues with the
That
keyboard.
that mouse battery ding ding was like went straight to my soul, dude. That was
Yeah,
loud.
I think it's being recorded and aired too.
Oh my
I should
God.
probably disable that somehow.
Yeah. So no, go to Paynim. Here, let me show you a website. Let me
All right.
show you something cool. Let me show you something that's dope. Paynym, Paynym. This is something from the Samurai Wallet.
PAY.im?
No, not no dot there. Yeah, no NYM
NYM?
dot s dot is. Yeah.
The IS. Okay.
IS. Yeah, this is from Samurai Wallet, people. Respect to Samurai Wallet. Respect to Samurai Wallet. They're pretty legit. Click on claim your bot.
Okay.
And then scroll down a bit or something. Or so yeah, like scroll down. See, so this is pretty cool. So what this is that instead of having to publicly dox an address of yours, you essentially have this robot working for you, and it like accepts payments on your behalf like an escrow service, and then forwards them to you, and the attacker never knows your direct address, and this removes an entire class of attacks from you because no one knows your address directly. They can only attack this bot, and you could just make a new bot. So like attacking the bot's worthless. It's a really good defense strategy.
Interesting.
Yep. So Samurai Wallet, this is only for BTC mainnet, but like other coins, like so for instance, like Hush has, we're gonna take this awesome idea from Samurai Wallet BTC mainnet. We're gonna do this. Imagine having this cool idea, but with like super crazy Z addresses and stuff. Like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, like every coin does cool stuff and like borrows and tweaks and does stuff. So Samurai Wallet, I'm a weirdo that doesn't use like BTC mainnet very much because I don't think it has much privacy. But when I do, I use Samurai Wallet and their products.
I'm sorry, did you say BCH or BTC?
BTC.
BTC.
Yeah.
Okay.
I use BCH as well, but I use both. I use BTC and BCH. Some people will hate me for that, and you guys can go.
Well, I like to spend my crypto. So it's I don't as much as I like and I want to see privacy coins adopted. It's not they're not here yet. There's not the support that we need to get to.
If people get anything from this, is that one Hush is 10,000 encrypted messages that you can send to someone. So I think of Hush as store of privacy, right? Bitcoin is a store of value. Bitcoin Cash is, what medium? What do they call it? Exchange, medium of exchange. And then I like to think of Hush as a store of privacy. So you have this. If you have one Hush, just one Hush right now, I think it's like what 5 or 7 cents right now. It's not a lot.
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, it changes. Who knows? But that's 10,000 encrypted messages. Like that just owning one Hush, and you can mine it too. Like we're a mineable coin. Like we don't believe in proof of stake at all. There's no proof of stake. It's only proof of work. So if you want to mine it, you can create something. Like that's the best way to buy it. Actually, we don't really like centralized exchanges at all. So let me give you another URL maybe if you want, or we can talk about that crazy meme that I made. Or you want to save that for
sure.
later?
Whatever you think is best.
Pop open a new tab. I got another.
All right.
I got something for you there. Hush Dex. myhush.org. github.com/myhush/hushdex. I think you know how to spell it. No hyphen. It's hard to know when.
Deck.
No, with the X.
X.
I should make it maybe K, like CKZ or something. That would be crazy. Yeah. Okay. Can you zoom out a little bit and then scroll, like maybe once or twice? Yeah, and then scroll down.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got? Oh yeah. So Hashdex. So basically, Hashdex you can think of like as a smart contract that can work with privacy coin stuff, and it's going to allow us to. You're going to be able to like swap Zcash and Hush in your wallet, and there's no centralized exchange. There's no bullshit. There's no selfies. There's no whatever McCallets and things. I don't know. There's no. You can scroll down a little bit more. There's no geo. Yeah, scroll. Is there? Scroll down a little bit more. There you go. Privacy features. No KYC. We will not feed the identity theft industry any more free data. No IP address limiting, because you can pay for an IP address anywhere in the world. Dumb type, limit IP addresses. And then we explain all the features we're going to have. So we are going to be, as far as I know, the first pure privacy coin only. Like, we're not allowing swaps with other coins. This is only for privacy coin weirdos right now. And I know that that's not for everyone, but for privacy coin weirdos, this is very exciting, because this is a decentralized exchange that is not going to like its main goal is to not leak your metadata. It's not convenience. It's the privacy.
Right.
We're going to have a GUI and all that. We're going to make it easy, but
how do you okay, so normally, if you can't exchange Hush for and what would stop somebody from exchanging Bitcoin for Hush or something of that nature?
What do you mean? Go do it right now. Go on the street. Go to the Cumberland Farms and do it.
You're saying you can do it?
No, I'm just saying. I'm being facetious. I'm trolling you. What was your question again?
Well, what I'm trying to figure out is, how do I get Hush, or how will I be able to get Hush?
The best way to get Hush is, there's a few ways. For instance, like nicehash.com is a way where you can like pay Bitcoin to rent hash power, and you're essentially mining Hush. You're paying BTC to mine Hush, and I'll tell you, it's the very best way. You get it the cheapest. There's a few very small, weird centralized exchanges that you can go to, but some of them, so we just got delisted from GraviX in Russia. And
can we talk about this some more? Because this is what I find.
Oh yeah,
really
this is directly related. I mean, this is created because of all right.
So what's going on with the censorship? Or I don't even know how you would phrase it. I don't know if it would be censorship is the right word, but certainly there is some controversial.
We're gonna get into some
shit
stuff
going
now.
on.
How much
here,
time do we have left?
Well, we could take a break, and then we got like 2 hours.
No, we'll get into it a little bit and then take a break.
Okay.
So people that have been using like exchanges a long time probably have been noticing that like every exchange wants to put like their finger like down your pants a little more every few years. They're like asking you more questions and all this stuff, and so it just got really
it's kind of funny. I haven't noticed that because I won't use an exchange.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, I hear about it because users complain. I don't use them either, but like
I hear about it too, because I do associate with people who use these.
I know
exchanges.
Traders. No, I know traders, and they're always Binance. I've never used Binance, so I'm so happy I've never used Binance. But good Lord, these traders never stop talking. So yeah, it's. What was your actual question though? I think
I mean, okay, so there's KYC and Hush.
Most people don't know what KYC is. Maybe you should tell them.
Yeah, so KYC is know your customer.
Dude, that mouse thing is really bad.
You know what? On break, I might be able to plug it in.
Is this free software or open source? Which one can we blame?
Jesus. All right. Well, let's take a break, and we'll get back.
The mouse is forcing us to break.
It is. It really is. All right. Let's see here.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeen.com. Freekeen.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeen.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeen.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.
If you haven't shopped at libertyminded.com, you're missing out. The company's got lots of great t-shirts, such as voting outside of a two-party system is a wasted vote because the candidate will not win, because voting outside of the two-party system is a wasted vote because the candidate will not win, because voting outside. I think you get the idea. Talk about circular reasoning. Did you know that Fedora the Explorer, exploring free software one distro at a time, is one of my favorite t-shirts? It's a great t-shirt for any distro hoppers in your life. Liberty Minded has lots of great t-shirts like this and many others. How about, I was reported to the FBI, but they just ignored it? Or, no, you can't be my friend. I'm not on Facebook. Which may or may not really be related. Now this is one that all hackers can agree on. Intellectual property is really information slavery. Information just wants to be free. And if the last one was too wordy, how about intellectual property is neither? Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians this summer from June 13th until June 18th for ForkFest 2019 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens right before the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping or RV site or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 13th through June 18th. You can simply relax and go camping with other Liberty lovers, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with other ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Check out forkfest.party.
I want to talk to you about privacy online and what you can do to protect yourself. Now, you might be thinking it's too hard. Well, not any longer. With our privacy-friendly Penguin VPN service, it's easier than ever to get a baseline of protection. We have guides for many popular GNU Linux distributions and releases. Whether you're on Triskel, Ubuntu, Linux Mint, or even Parabola, we have a solution for you. And if reading is a challenge, check out our mini VPN wireless routers that optionally come pre-configured with Penguin VPN service. All you have to do is plug the router in and select a wireless access point from your computer. After that, all your data is transparently passed through our privacy-friendly VPN servers. We can protect you from rogue ISPs, corporations, and even government censorship. We sponsor the development of the only fully Libre embedded distribution shipping on routers today, and have a reputable third party vet the code. Routers are RYF certified by the Free Software Foundation. Check out thinkpenguin.com, click on networking, and you can find our VPN services and routers available there. All right, and we're back. So you're listening to Freedom Decrypted, and we're streaming live from our Keene, New Hampshire studios. I got in the studio here, Duke. Is it? How do you pronounce your last name? Is
Lido.
It Lido. Okay, Duke Lido here, and
Holy Toledo.
I want to give some. I do want to give some people an opportunity to get our. We have a coupon code that we give out on the show for Think Penguin. It's RMS all caps. And
cool.
There's actually a joke in the coupon code if you also sign up for the thinkpenguin.com mailing list, and you might get pissed off if you're like a socialist, but or left leaning.
I've seen RMS in Meat Space.
Yeah. Well, let's just put it this way: it's been something. It's something basically in regards to
he lives up to everything
to supporting RMS, despite the fact that he was attacked by the left for. Basically defending a dead guy who didn't even do what supposedly the left is accusing him of. Anyway, yeah, we talked about it on the show in the past, but so yeah, so if you want the discount, both of the discounts, you gotta type in you support RMS basically.
That's funny. Hey, someone will do it to get the discount code. So.
Oh yeah, we've definitely.
He wrote Emacs, so if you use Emacs,
yeah,
I don't. But.
Anyway, it's I think it's more funny than anything else, but I don't know if I don't know if anybody's actually said to me that they get the joke though. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like you think RMS, like everybody knows RMS, but most people don't. Like the reality is the community is just so large that it's.
He's the reason we have free software, and he is the free software. He's not open source. He hates open source.
Yeah, so RMS, and people might know Richard Stallman, but they don't know him by RMS. So that's the other thing.
It's a famous hacker. Very, very early OG hackers all had their initials were 3 letters in early Unix systems, so that's where that comes from.
I don't know if I was aware of that.
Yeah, like the earliest Unix systems, all usernames were 3 letters, and that's why it was RMS.
So you sign up for the thinkpenguin.com mailing list, and you'll get a coupon code that'll give you 2% discount. For watching the show, there's a 3% discount that we're giving you here. That's again RMS all caps.
Saving money just for listening to the show.
Just for
Look at
listening to
that.
the show. Yeah,
There you go.
it's pretty cool.
Okay.
And then
and it's a cool store. Like I would buy stuff on your, like I have, and I do buy things from your business because it's useful stuff.
oh, have you? I don't even
Well,
know.
I'm
if
just
I...
saying, you know, like
Oh,
computer parts and stuff.
Okay,
Like computer parts.
we sold
you
you some rap, right?
We don't need to leak all my metadata, but like I have purchased computer parts from your company, and
sorry,
and they weren't malware that I know of. You know, they weren't laced with
Definitely
special
not.
implants.
Definitely not.
But you cater to free software, open source Linux people that want their stuff to work in frickin' Linux and stuff, and so that's a huge service. I respect that. I appreciate that something like that exists. So thank you.
Yeah, there's also some other cool discounts we also give out if you send me a Chris at thinkpenguin.com. So I'm the CEO, founder here of thinkpenguin.com. But if you send me an email and it's GPG encrypted, I will send you another coupon code, so you can get up to 7% discount if you do all those things.
We're gonna get you on Hush Chat too.
And if you this is probably the best discount of all. It's not really a discount; it's free shipping. If all you got to do is pay with crypto at checkout, click on your crypto option to pay with BitPay, and then go up and click on the shipping button to get your rates, and you will get a free shipping option that you can select. So that applies, I believe, to anybody basically in the United States.
So just
except
to
for
verify,
scanners,
just to say that if you pay in Bitcoin, you get free shipping. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Cool. So you just have to choose it in the shopping cart. If you use Bitcoin, you get free shipping.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. Like, that's a nice incentive. So that's cool. Nice.
Yeah, we want to. I mean, basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to promote privacy.
You guys actually support the use of coins, not just the speculation and the buying and holding and the selling. Yeah, no.
I'm not an investor in
you're a user.
crypto.
No,
I'm a user.
That's why I
support privacy, not. And I know that Bitcoin and crypto, like, okay, so I know the two checkout options are not privacy-friendly coins.
It's okay.
We're gonna get there, guys. We're gonna get there.
I'm happy to push us forward iteratively. So yeah, like I think that people using Bitcoin over US dollars is an improvement. Like you can have at least some type of privacy.
So it's
with
Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash is what's the default to checkout. And it's not that we won't accept other cryptocurrencies. We actually do. It's just you have to contact us because the systems don't support other cryptos that are like privacy friendly. That
this is a future thing, but Hush Chat is perfect for you. Just so an example, a business like you could have a Hush Chat little, like a QR code, address, whatever, and someone could literally send you an encrypted message that says, I want to purchase a laptop that has Linux on it or whatever. And everything, the price, the everything, it could literally be like a chat bot. Like you could have you could automate it all, right? Like you could have you know how websites have the little, like, what would you like, and you could do that, or you could have a human, be encrypted chatting via the blockchain, and it's all there. It all works. Like we even have a GUI. Like Hush Chat has a GUI already. So if you want to do Hush Chat on your own chain, that that work needs to be done. Like someone needs to do the work, but all the basics are there. Like so much cool stuff is possible.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do any multi-crypto wallets support Hush?
I'll tell you, multi-crypto wallets don't usually support privacy coins, and
that's what I was curious about.
You shouldn't really trust the multi-coin wallet for privacy coins because their focus is on convenience to support multiple coins.
Oh yeah,
it's not going to be on privacy.
Oh, for sure.
So for instance, my own personal use, I use a one coin, one wallet mantra. So like for instance, I use Cake Wallet for Monero. I think that's a good wallet, and I use Samurai Wallet for BTC mainnet. And I actually don't have a good BCH privacy focused wallet. Like I wish there was a really good, like Samurai people hate BCH, so they won't do it.
You know what would be cool to have is a multi crypto wallet that was focused on privacy coins. And then maybe have like
no one's really
a couple non-privacy coins, but it's all focused around payment, right? Yeah. So like a lot of these crypto wallets, some of the crypto wallets are focused around payment, but they're not focused. How do I say this? A lot of them are not focused on payment; they're only focused on investing. And then some of them are focused on payment, but they're not focused on privacy, right? So
if you're a company trying to profit from this whole crypto coin craze, privacy is your enemy. It makes people not pay you money. It gives you less fees. It's for instance, Zcash Company. It's been 4 years now. Zcash Company has spent millions and millions and millions and millions. They actually spend millions per month, okay? And they still haven't added privacy to their coin. It's a big joke. It's actually because we call it like the honey. It's the official honeypot coin. Like if you don't know anything, you're going to be like, oh, cool, Zcash. I have privacy now. Like it's a big joke. There's no privacy in Zcash. That's why, all the authorities love it. And why do all the darknet use Monero? I really wonder why the whole darknet uses Monero and not Zcash.
Hold on. I mean, all right, I'm going to back up and defend Zcash a little bit here.
And no, you shouldn't, because maybe I wrote a whole white paper about this shit.
I know. But hold on. Monero.
Wait, it's 15 pages, this white paper.
Hold on. Monero predates Zcash by quite a few years.
It does.
So it's not about how good something is in this case. It's about first to market. And so I think it's a little bit harsh to say,
this is Zcash. Can your people see that? Yeah. See that little turd
we could bring
there?
it up on the website maybe, but
no, it's cool. We got that little turd right there, Zcash, and then that's what Hush looks like. So, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just leave that there. I have opinions. Yeah. So Monero.
So give us your opinions.
Monero. I'm a mathematician, so sometimes people are like, "Oh, look, this man. He's being very, not being respectful to these other people." Well, it's like if you're an expert at something and you're the best in a certain little thing, then you get to be disrespectful when other people are trying to masquerade as an expert. I mean, let's be honest. So here's the deal. I'm a mathematician. I have many peer-reviewed math papers. I think 5 or so.
I think it's pretty apparent with your behavior.
No, I mean, I just want to tell people, like, let's say someone's an academic. Let's say someone's like a PhD.
Smart people are weird. I hate to tell you. You haven't realized this yet.
I quit my PhD. I didn't feel like there was a day that I didn't feel like proving my knowledge about math to anyone anymore, and I quit my PhD. And a company instantly paid me 5 times what my university was paying me to grade papers. So
you did the math, right? And you decided getting the PhD, not worth it.
Yes.
Going to work for a company, worth it.
I literally applied.
You proved by not getting that PhD, you actually proved your skills.
So just to put it into more perspective, I literally applied to 100 jobs remotely, like on monster.com and all those horrible sites. And then within 2 weeks, I was driving across the country, had a new job for 5 times my salary at the university.
All right, hold on. All right. So I want to be a little bit critical here, because so many people have bragged about how much money they make, and then I ask, well, where was the job? And then they say San Francisco, and I'm like, oh, so you can't even afford a 1-bedroom apartment?
Portland. No, I was living good. I moved to Portland, Portland, Oregon, baby.
Portland, Oregon is actually pretty cheap in certain areas if you're willing to put up with If
you want to be in the numbers, see, you might not know the lingo.
It was at one point.
If anyone from PDX is listening, I'm legit. I'm real. I lived in Deacon, baby. I lived where the people don't want to go. I lived where people of my white color wouldn't go.
Let me ask you something. Were you right near? I think it's was it Free Geek? Is it in Portland?
I used to go to Free Geek all the time. My brother
was it right in that neighborhood? Because that was a pretty trashy neighborhood. If I recall correctly.
I was there. I was 5
there like
times,
once or twice.
5 nights a week. I was hanging out there because we had Pearl group meetings at Free Geek. I probably went to at least 5 group meetings at Free Geek. So I was literally riding my bike alone there at night. And PDX isn't like, some parts are scary, and especially if you look at the news now.
I don't know about scary, but trashy, I think, was probably the better way to describe it.
Sure.
And I don't mean like white trash. I mean just like run down.
Well, I would just say that
poverty kind of.
Portland is one of the most friendly to homeless people. I'm saying this as like a feature, not a bug. It's one of the most friendly to homeless people cities, definitely like on the West Coast, maybe in all of the US. So if you're homeless and you're like don't have somewhere to go, a lot of people end up in Portland because the weather isn't as cold as a lot of other places, and there's a lot of resources. The government, the city has all these free shelters. So there is kind of like tent cities, and there's a huge homeless contingent there because there's resources for them, and that's where they go.
Sounds like Keene. A little bit.
There's a similar vibe. Like Keene is a tiny little Portland in New Hampshire.
It really is.
You're right.
It's like we got the Think Penguin, like Free Geek. We got the tech people here because we're tracking them. These are the Free State Project, and the freedom migration movement in general. We got the homeless bums on the street downtown, and we got the homeless shelter one homeless shelter downtown, and then another 2 homeless shelters in Keene. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what other cities are like, or other towns are like, but I know where I came from that there weren't any homeless people, and there was one homeless person for like a long time. And like that was it, and then she died or something, and then there was like no homeless people for like I don't know 10 or 20 years growing up in New Jersey. So but
what did I'm sure we forgot to talk about something. We were talking about
where did we leave off?
KMD coin sucks or something like that. Show me that meme on the screen.
All right, we'll go back to the meme here, and all right, crypto, where is the meme? So here, the Twitter meme, right?
I think it's hard for people to understand what's important and what's not when super crazy technical people are talking. Like I could say jibbly jobbleish and it'll sound cool, and then I could say something super boring and it's actually the important thing. So this is just like a meme representation of the current state of affairs of the blockchain, I would say right now. But Komodo coin has kind of attacked the Hush coin, and there's some fun stuff going on. Pretty much like, I don't know what.
So
what terminology?
People can't hear you and they can't see. Not everybody can see what's on the screen. So you want to give a little description of what's going on? What does this mean?
What is this meme? Oh, it says "fuck around and find out." So first of all, that's probably going to get bleeped off somewhere. But it's the gator. There's a gator with a Hush logo on it, eating a little Komodo logo, and then there's a whole bunch of women with AK-47s, various kinds, and basically.
All right. So is the gator the mascot for Hush?
No.
Okay. What does the gator represent?
It's just a meme.
Okay, gotcha.
So just the gator background meme is a iteration of the libertarian meme of "Don't step on me." You know, like the yellow "Don't step on me."
Yeah.
The yellow "Don't step on me." This is the iteration. This is the next. It's a F around and find out. So, but basically, there is a tax against all crypto coins called Satoshi's shotgun. Let me say that again. Satoshi's shotgun. No one's really heard of this, probably because it's come out of the Komodo Hush world. We merged. We were 2 different communities. We kind of became one, and now we've split sides, and there's some bad juju. So like Satoshi's shotgun is basically a way to take down any crypto coin. Like, name a crypto coin.
Hush.
You could take it down with Satoshi shotgun. Name another one.
Monero.
You could take it. Oh, you could probably, but like that's a totally different family. Like that's the crypto node. So basically,
almost any cryptocurrency.
Like Zcash. Well, no, I mean, so here I focus on Zcash. So yes, you could. It's a denial of service attack against crypto coins. So there's, I focus on, let's say, Zcash or Bitcoin. So here, you could do it against Bitcoin, all right? This is something that can take down Bitcoin. Now, everyone's going to be like, oh, so Duke must have really fully gone apeshit bananas. Like, he's saying that this can be used against Bitcoin. It's a denial of service attack that can be used against any coin. And if you do use it against Bitcoin, it's just really expensive because Bitcoin, charges you so many fees, right? So the attack has a financial cost, right? And that cost is high for BTC. So it's not like, let's say, it's not cheap, right? But in terms of if you want to attack any other coin,
how's it work?
It's like it's one way. It's a denial of service, like a spam attack.
I think we know what a denial of service attack is.
Yeah.
Most of the people on the show.
It's creating. So what happens? What happens when you make 60 transparent? What happens when you make 60 payments per second or transactions per second?
It eats up everything on the network, and nobody else can send any crypto.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, it's.
But imagine that on bath salts and LSD with mix and chainsaws. Like, I can't explain to you the technical. I'm not trying to hide some things, but there's so weird technical edge cases that I truly don't know how to explain them to you. But long ago there was something called Satoshi shotgun. Okay, and then a really smart dude named DWY, not me, a French guy. he made something, an iteration of that took down the Komodo network, KMD coin, and I was a protector of that. He was as well. I was with him. We were like the defenders of that network, and in the research of defending against attacks, he came up with this better attack. I mean, this is what defenders learn. I mean, if you're a professional defender and all you do is defend every day, you learn what the best new attacks are, right? So he took down the whole friggin' Komodo network with that thing, and then that kind of got named the Dry attack, and it was an iteration of Satoshi Shotgun. It was an improvement. It was a, oh gosh, this is way worse than we thought. Like, we thought it was only this bad, but it's actually much worse. And then, so now you can take that idea and take that to Zcash protocol chains. So Komodo wasn't a Zcash, it was just using T addresses there. So basically, there's new attacks like that, and there's just a meme related to that, and just, this is what privacy coin research is. Like, people don't grasp all the crazy C++ and elliptic curves. Like, we have to make memes with weird pictures to try to just kind of get the vibe across.
And then only the math nerds get it.
Yeah, and then, well, I mean, no one, and then it's just up to interpretation. But hopefully, it's like clickbait. It's like, if you make a good meme, someone looks into something.
I have to say, there are so many great ideas for like memes basically, but like these are shirt ideas basically.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I know somebody who does these shirts, and he comes up with these shirt ideas, and he makes them available to buy, and then nobody buys them. And it's like, this is so hilarious. But the problem is that it's such a niche thing, it's like, so nobody understands the joke, but it's really funny.
I love niche jokes are like one of my man, like the fewer people that laugh at my joke, the better. Just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, there's like this one shirt that says don't take a skateboard to a gunfight. And it's really, really bad, because I don't know if you remember this, but like there was I forget what city it was, like Seattle or Portland or somewhere, and they basically, this guy basically,
I think I know what you're talking about.
He gets shot, and he basically is chasing somebody after, a bunch of people are chasing after this guy with a gun. I can't remember the guy's name, but he gets shot, and he literally lunges at the guy with his skateboard, and the guy's pointing a gun at him because he's being chased, and he shoots the guy.
I'm pretty sure I watched that live on Woke TV.
Yeah. Do you remember the guy's name?
Rottingham or something? The kid that shot him. He was under 18. Yeah, he tried to turn himself in, and they wouldn't let him. It was all live. It was very bizarre. And then they finally went to get him the next day.
I would have thought that would have been like a super popular shirt amongst Liberty people, right? Like,
don't take a skateboard to a gun fight. Wow.
It's totally inappropriate, right? Like, I get that, but like, it's funny.
It's funny. I gotta say. I mean, I think people die. I think he killed people. So he shot like 3 people, I think, or something. But yeah, it's a funny meme too. It's a bizarre world. Like,
and he didn't stop when the guy was pointing a gun at him and not shooting him, and so he decides, I'm going to continue because he's not shooting me. Well, if he just hadn't continued,
I don't know. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge, because in that kind of situation, I don't. It's very much like fight or flight, and So I think I was watching it live, and now I'm talking about it on a live stream, which is very bizarre to me.
Wow. Yeah.
So, Seach, this thing, nobody has this. See, like, Hush is protecting your stuff with stuff like this.
So what is that? And I can't hardly see it on the screen, so I don't. Unfortunately,
can you bring stuff up on the screen? I don't know, man.
I have an overhead camera here, but I don't know if it'll work. It's not hooked up.
This is on GitHub somewhere, but I hate GitHub, so they banned me. GitHub. So GitHub. I think it was Komodo coin.
Let's get into that, because GitHub banned you. Okay, I was expecting.
That was why I came here.
I
right?
understand. Oh, okay. I didn't know it was GitHub. So I understood.
GitHub friggin' banned me. This is my GitHub tombstone, because I will never. This is the end. I contributed for 12 years. I mean, I was one of the first people on GitHub. I hung out with the people that created GitHub. They bought me beer,
So I thought
my code is in Git, like the thing that GitHub uses. And now this is the end. I will never push any more code. This is, I call it like my GitHub tombstone.
What
so.
I thought happened was I thought Hush was banned from an exchange.
That happened as well.
There was an announcement, and then
also happened too.
So there's two huge like censorship type things. People attacking
I'll tell you.
Hush.
Okay,
what's going on with that stuff? Because that was like the core thing that I thought we were going to be talking about today, and I guess it will be. But it's like it's huge. I think it's huge.
Pop open. Let me really blow people's minds. Teach people.
All right.
Open something. Search for FATF. Yep, we're gonna go there. We're probably gonna get on more lists than we're already on. Press enter. I want to look at like the Wikipedia page.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize Google was a default search.
Oh man, you just docked yourself. Keep going. So the FATF is like the latest know your customer KYC laws. No, go to the Wikipedia page for it. It has a very useful document. So this is what the global surveillance.
Financial Action Task Force. Is this the international
go down.
one?
Yeah, not too big. Yeah, keep going down. There should be a list of 39 countries. Keep going. Yep. Zoom out a little bit. Oh my God, zoom out a little bit. This keeps changing. This had 39 the other day. So zoom out. Dude, it's so weird. Dude, take a screenshot of this thing right now of all 39 countries, because I swear to you that it keeps changing.
Okay,
you don't
why
have
wouldn't
to
it?
right now.
I don't.
Well, just so that we can record how it's changing. Like, no, don't forget. I'm way more paranoid than you did. Okay, so this is the global surveillance.
It won't surprise
state.
me that this changes.
Is the global surveillance state.
Yeah.
So look, Russia, China, and the United States are in here. That's crazy.
Actually,
that's crazy.
Russia being in there surprises me.
Yeah. Just let me talk for a second.
Okay, into the mic.
So, dude. There's something called the Five Eyes, okay? That's the Axis powers from World War II, right? Then there's something called the Nine Eyes, right? That's like Belgium and a few extra, like, the friends of the Allies, right? I know it's weird, but they call them the 14 Eyes, right? And it's like the friends of the friends, right? Germany is in the 14 Eyes, right? So to give you an example, Germany's in 14 Eyes, but not in 9 Eyes, not in 5 Eyes, right? Okay, this FATF, I think people should call the 39 Eyes, all right? So imagine that we went from 5 countries in the world surveilling everyone to 9, sharing data, surveilling everyone to 14, and now 39. Okay, and it's not just 39 random ones; it's ones that used to not get along. Okay, the Russia was never in 5 Eyes, 9 Eyes, or 14 Eyes. It makes sense because they were the opposite side.
They were the enemy, right?
I won't call them the enemy. Let's call them the opposite side.
Let's be honest.
I know a lot of
let's be honest.
Russians.
The Cold War did it not happen?
I love Russian ladies, I'll say, so I have no animosity there. Mother's milk. So I don't know. It's there's a lot of good Russian mathematicians. I mean, whatever. I wasn't alive in World War II, but what I'm trying to explain is that Russia is now in agreement with the U.S. and China on how to surveil all citizens of the world. And that is called the FATF. And every exchange in the world is now being forced to use these rules.
It's kind of interesting that you talk about this, because it's really way beyond that. There's like maybe 4 countries: North Korea, Iran, I'm not sure what the other couple are, but there's a very few countries that are not part of the financial system, because if you don't participate, it basically, in what you're talking about here, I believe it is, you basically you don't have access to the international financial markets.
I understand what you're saying. This is a information sharing agreement, though, so it's.
I know it's not quite the same.
But for instance, like you'll notice a lot of Asian countries aren't here. See, so China is. So here's how you make sense of it. Like China is here because it makes sense for China, Russia, and the U.S. to all agree on how to surveil their citizens. They are not friends. They're frenemies here. They're all benefiting from shaking hands in public so that they can surveil us all in private. They do not like each other and they do not get along, but they're all happy to surveil their own citizens, right? So it's just we're all getting screwed over, and they're happy to work together on that. They hate each other otherwise. So FATF now. So Graviex in Russia delisted us. They would not support our privacy features. And what I like to say is that Putin cannot read your hush chat messages. Putin can't, there's no backdoor that Putin can read your fucking memos, your encrypted stuff. So they couldn't have that on GraviX. And then we had CoinX. Now, we were supposed to just get listed on CoinX out of China, I think. I can't remember. They were actually very knowledgeable. I'm gonna say that CoinX had way more knowledgeable people, but I found out that basically FATF rules were going to be forced on Hush and not allow people to use all privacy features as I, the lead dev, decide how they should be implemented. I'm not going to listen to an exchange tell me how people should use it. I need to tell them, and so, they wouldn't listen.
I mean, this begs the question: how do you acquire? Because most people go through exchanges. So the question is,
nicehash.com.
What is the solution to this again?
Nicehash.com.
Nicehash.com. Let's go there. What exactly is nicehash.com?
That is you pay to mine coins, whatever you want.
So
they also do other stuff.
This is kind of funny. So in order to do this, you have
no. Look, it's the same as an exchange. Look, all you're doing is putting in BTC, just like an exchange, clicking a few buttons, and you get Hush. It's slightly different.
You have to first acquire crypto, though. You first have to acquire Bitcoin, right, or some other cryptocurrency.
Hush is the same as every other digital currency. You can't.
But what makes this funny, I think, is that the government is trying to crack down, right? And so here we are. There is a solution to this problem that gets around all of their crackdown, because if you can buy Bitcoin, right,
yep,
and then you want to anonymize it, all you got to do is buy Hush through this system. Then
do you want to be afraid? They're going to lock this down soon. So if you're hearing about this right now, you better go use Nicehash right now.
So this is under attack.
No, they want to do Know Your Hash.
What is Know Your Hash?
That means that doing this requires a selfie and your selfies.
Interesting. So, okay, back up a moment.
They're going to add KYC to this renting of hash rate process.
Okay, so what good... All right, so here's the next question.
They're too smart to leave this open. Okay, look, the people that sit behind desks and stuff, they know this exists, all right? Nicehash.com, mining rentals. I think there's other competitors, all right? Nicehash is not the only one, but it's the biggest. Here's, I guess, the real... You can sell your hash rate to them, too. They're both sides.
I understand. So here's the real question now. All right. So,
and I don't work for them or get paid in any way. Just I get no kickback from Nicehash. It's just an example.
Once you have, I've submitted to all the compliance bullshit, right?
Don't do that. I do not. I tell all users to not submit to any compliance.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I'm simply trying to acquire.
We're not on any KYC exchanges. You're still not understanding, dude. We don't support KYC exchanges, so you'll never have to give KYC to acquire Hush. I'll never tell anyone to give KYC to acquire Hush because I won't do it. Why would I tell anyone else to do something I wouldn't do?
Well, I think I'm thinking of more the bigger picture, right? I mean, just because you don't provide them KYC does not necessarily mean if you send them a wire transfer, they're still going to have your information.
I know, but I'm just telling you, I am writing code that is in a world that's not that.
I understand you're talking about from a...
I'm not saying I don't want your world to exist, but I'm saying your stuff doesn't exist in my world.
So we're just going to assume that nobody is... I guess
I don't... If you want to ask a insanely specific question right now, I think I'll answer it, but I'm getting very ambiguous stuff from you right now. What is your question?
I want to acquire Hush, but
with what? Silver coins?
Doesn't matter.
Horses?
It doesn't matter.
No, it does. Gold nuggets? Dude, with what?
Let's say a KYC compliant exchange.
I don't have anything to do that. Hush does not support that. The whole project doesn't support that.
All right.
Seriously.
I get that. So
no, seriously, if we did, whole reason of the project is
then do I acquire defeated. Right? Because I have to. All right, so I have to buy Bitcoin through a non-KYC exchange.
No, I'll tell you right now. You should buy a miner. Pop open your tab again. ASIC mining. What is it? It's a.
You just told me that Nicehash is going to be KYC soon, right?
Nicehash. No, I'm saying that they're going to add laws that require this kind of service to ask to require KYC.
Let's say they do, right? Let's say
it's called Know Your Hash. It's coming.
Fine.
Expect it.
Know Your Hash is coming, right?
Yeah.
This site, right, implements Know Your...
Other countries have already implemented Know Your Hash, like Russia.
I mean, Know Your Hash is just Know Your Customer, right?
Yeah, it's just Know Your Customer for mining. Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's a buzzword, but Know Your Hash, dude. I mean, you should know your hash.
Once you acquire... Okay, well, I'm sorry.
And hash is hash rate, not anything else for the Interpol and everyone else listening.
Once you mine your, that's what you're doing here is mining mining Hush, right?
You can mine any
You're
coin
paying
with this
them
website.
to effectively mine
Just
Hush for
go
you.
click something. There's like 1,000 coins you can mine. This is not just Hush. This is
I
like
understand.
a huge
Okay, first of all, this
site.
is partially radio, so we
Oh,
kind
I'm
of have to
sorry,
talk
I'm
about
sorry.
it too,
Okay,
right?
I'm sorry. Okay,
All
so
right.
NiceHash
So-
is like a very big old website that you can sell your hash rate to them, and people can buy it from them, and they make money on the interchange.
Okay, so what I want to know is they implement presumably know your hash. So
No, they don't. I'm telling you, it's coming. No, it doesn't exist now.
I understand
I'm
it
just
doesn't.
telling you.
I know. I understand. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. When it comes, right?
Okay, when it comes.
When it comes.
She's coming around the mountain.
I'm
when
assuming
she
it's here,
comes,
right?
when she
I
comes.
get
It's
not
here in
actually
other
here yet.
countries. It's not in the U.S.
All right,
yet. Keep
fair
going.
enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough. So,
here we.
all right. So I want to get Hush, right? And I want to be anonymous.
I
right?
think you should buy hardware and not rent it. So here's the deal. This is just renting, but for like $100, you can get started mining Hush with Hush
All right.
Miner.
So what you're telling me is that when Know Your Hash arrives, I can't acquire my Hush this way and have the Hush be anonymous.
This site specializes in renting hash rate. I mean, they might even take credit cards, this website, but I'm pretty sure that you usually pay in BTC.
Okay.
That's what people I know have told me. So if developers use this site, so just as an example, if I'm testing something that requires testing the mining code, I actually use this site as a developer testing tool,
Mhm.
because regular miners aren't going to mine my weird test code. It doesn't have financial value, but I need to make sure it exists before it goes to the main network. So I use this kind of service to point mining stuff at my like new code. Or I could use a dedicated miner that I have, but sometimes it's easier to use a service.
Right. Web services
Yeah.
make things so much easier.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
you could buy a Hush miner for about $100 right now. It's not going to make you a lot of money. I'll just tell you right now. So
physically buy.
you could physically buy a
somebody's gonna
machine
ship
for
it to
about
me, right?
$100. Yeah, a Z9 Mini. So pop open another tab. It's called asicminervalue.com. I'm going to teach everyone. This is not dependent on Hush. asicminervalue.com. Yeah. No R at the end. Oh, good thing that wasn't malware. Yeah, no R at the end. You have a value or yeah, just that R. ASIC miner value. I hope that's right. Oh yes, I love it when I'm right. All right, look at the top miner there. What does it say? Bitmain, Antminer, Z15. All right, look, $26.52 a day. You can mine Hush with that top miner right there. Good luck trying to get it right now. It's very expensive. Only the biggest miners that have millions of dollars have these right now. Look at the awesome hash rate. It's 420 kilosols per second. I just love that number, 420. All right, so you can mine Hush with that Bitminer and Z15. Now you see the Z11 down there. That is actually what people should look for. See Z11?
Z11. Okay.
Yeah. So that $5.84. Yeah, click on that right now, actually. And so that number that it's showing you is taking into account a certain electricity rate. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, yeah, like keep going all the way down. There's gonna, yeah, see that 12 cents? Ooh, I hate those things. Change that 12 cents to like, let's say 6 cents. Yeah, 0.06, and then apply. And then, okay. So if you had 6 cents electricity, which is, I would say, decent. You might have more, you might have less, but that's, just as an example. 10 cent is some people use. It was using 12, which I think is, I don't know, but that would be what, $8 a day profit with that machine, and that's considering that you're going to mine Zcash. This, if you scroll down, I think the website shows a Hush logo somewhere, up, down, somewhere. No? Oh, look, awesome! I love this website.
This is Hush,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So that's us. So it's showing you
this
that
is
you can mine Zcash. So this Z11, all these,
Zcash.
yeah, all of these Z. So Hush is the same hardware as Zcash and Zen and KMD and a few other coins. Okay, that's called Equihash ASICs. And so if you buy these physical machines, you could choose. You can switch between any of these coins. It's actually super cool. As a miner, it's like you have this money making device and you can switch which types of money it makes. That's super cool because most ASICs are not like that. Most ASICs are tied to a certain coin, and that's it. It kind of like it was a historical accident that all the Zcash coins standardized. Well, not an accident, but we chose to. So Hush logo is right there because I chose to make it there. I mean, I could have decided to move Hush off of it and be different, but I thought it was best to stay, and I think I was proven that was the right decision, because now if you're a big Zcash miner, you can choose to mine Hush because it's the same hardware, right? It was very strategic, decision to keep the same hardware as Zcash and Zen. That means every Zcash miner can be a Hush miner at any second. They can switch over and they can switch back. There's software that will allow it to switch like every few seconds, and so it allows us to be a potential coin to mine with all that hardware.
All right, here's the next question now.
You can buy cheap things like this. This is an expensive thing. This is like $1,500 or $2,000 or something. This
wow,
thing right here.
Is that for that's for this particular miner that we just opened?
Yeah,
okay.
I think this particular one's around $1,500. I buy them used. I don't recommend. So here's another thing: if you try to buy these miners new, they try to KYC you. They try to do.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
The Bitmain started that. China started that, and that's because if you think about it, it's a perfect way to get out of the system is to buy $1 million of miners.
Right, of course. Of course it
and
is.
people were doing that.
Yes. So, all right, so I've got a question now. Let's say I buy one of these miners, right? And I am mining my crypto, right? It connects to other
you're going to mine on a pool and you're
right.
going to get paid. You're going to basically join work and join a pool with others and then get paid out on your percentage of work that you did. So it's very, for people that like, egalitarian or meritocracies or whatever, like mining pools are very much that. Like if you did 5% of the work that day, like you're going to get 5% of the pay. Like that's pretty much what mining pools are. So that's what you do. You join a pool of people and you do that stuff. Now, if you're so big that you don't need others, then you can do that. But if not, if you go solo, that's called solo mining. You could mine a whole block, but it could take you a long time. So
is once I have the Hush and I spend that Hush, is it anonymous after I've mined it? Do they know what IP address mined that Hush originally?
Ooh, who's they?
Would I be able to find that out? Would somebody else be able to find that out? Would the
NSA,
the
NSA knows it. I mean, so here's the thing: the NSA is recording every encrypted packet on the internet since anyone was born until any of us die. Okay, it's there. They're recorded it already. So who is your threat model?
NSA.
I mean, you're already done. No, they're not. I'm telling you, they're not your threat model.
All right, FBI.
Okay.
Let's downgrade a little.
Good. No, that's good. That's what most people's threat model is.
Yeah. So
people from 3-letter agencies. So
yeah.
What is your specific question though? Then.
So when I mine it, after I mine it and I spend it, is it then
IP addresses are very dicey. I would say you should. IP addresses are really bad. I would say that the U.S. military really wanted to make sure that they control the internet for a long time, and that's why everything works the way it does right now. DNS is completely untrustable. BGP is totally untrustable, and it's a total nightmare. If you need to run production systems and trust things, you can't even trust IP addresses because BGP attacks.
So you got to set up your own network.
BGP attacks. You can't even
bypass that.
You can't even fix.
You can do links. You can get actual.
You can do WireGuard and stuff. I don't know, but BGP attacks are really bad. Like those of all the things that make me kind of not sleep well at night, BGP attacks, and the U.S. government wants it to be like that, and China and Russia know how to abuse BGP attacks just like the U.S. government, so they benefit. But like if you think about it, there's no trust at the lowest layer of the internet, like at the lowest layer of how do I get to this IP address? There's too much trust. There's like ultimate trust. Like no one. You could just say anything.
Everybody trusts everybody.
Yes,
is what it is.
yes.
And that's bad because it also means that it can be manipulated.
Let me give an example because I think that
your traffic gets rerouted.
I'm being too abstract. So my Ether wallet was hacked a few years ago MEW, some people know it as My Ether Wallet, and millions of dollars.
So was
lost.
there no authentication going on?
No. It's a BGP attack. Are you familiar with BGP attacks?
Sure.
Okay. So BGP, for people unfamiliar, that's what tells the internet like how to get to an IP address. So it's actually below the layer of DNS. So forget about DNS being backdoored, which it already is. By the way, DNS is backdoor. Don't trust it. But then below that,
how can you even backdoor DNS? It's not. It's like it's like one of those things.
You trust so much. Wow.
Well, no. It's just the way you phrased it is as backdoored. It's not encrypted. It's not anything.
Well,
it's
I'm just saying that it can be
how do you
modified.
backdoor it?
Well, the U.S. Let's say the NSA can change any DNS query for any individual request on the fly on the internet.
Fair enough. I'm sorry. I'm getting like picky about stuff that doesn't matter. You're right. It's backdoored. Okay.
I'm so happy that you agreed with me.
The choice of words is just.
You're right. I'm being flippant with my choice of words with backdoored, but like the U.S. government runs the root DNS servers, so literally there's like 16, I think, I can't remember, servers that the U.S. military runs that make sure DNS works, and if they didn't, it wouldn't. And if they want it to work a different way that's not documented, they do. So
it's interesting. So they maintain the DNS servers for .com, .net, .org. What about there's other DNS for like .eu, right? And that would be a separate set of servers.
Every country maintains their own. So for instance, .is is Iceland, and Hush is.
So I'm just thinking, like, if you want to avoid the U.S., right, you could just disable disable DNS through those servers, right?
No,
would that not work?
The U.S. military controls the whole DNS of the entire internet. That's what I was trying to explain to you. That makes China and Russia unhappy. Let me explain it to you. So when you type in google.com, right?
Yeah,
it's actually saying, oh, you forgot the dot at the end. It's actually google.com dot. And then it's saying, oh, who owns the dot? That's the U.S. military. Oh, I should go ask the U.S. military where I should look up com. I should ask the U.S. military where com servers are. And then it looks up those. And then it says, where should I look up google.com? And then it says, oh, that's all the way over at Google over there. And then it finally goes to Google DNS servers. So there's already like three levels of redirects.
But that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. You can
what I'm saying is that
you can change.
But even if you're looking up, you're right. If you're looking up like .eu, I think it still goes through the root servers from the U.S. But I'm actually, I'm not actually the person that does all that.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
here's the thing:
think that
Bitcoin does not trust DNS in any way, and Hush does not trust DNS in any way. Why do you think that is?
Of course not. But
I mean, you should never trust your Bitcoin to DNS. It will be stolen from you instantly. I mean, why do you think privacy coin people don't trust DNS?
So let's get more specific, because we don't trust DNS. But what about IP addresses?
Okay, so here's why you shouldn't trust IP addresses.
Yes, this is the big one, because this is the same problem that DNS has.
It's the same.
Yeah.
So when you actually type like go to this IP address, let's just call like 1.2.3.4. It actually, the internet has to be like, whoa, I have to like go figure out where this server is on the world. Like, that's the hardest part of the internet right there. It's like, how do I go from this number to like the physical location that is on the internet? And so there's a lookup table, and that's what's called autonomous systems, ASNs or ASs. And so there's a mapping from autonomous system numbers to IP addresses. So when you type in 1.2.3.4, your computer has to look up the autonomous system number that controls that IP. And here's where it gets poopy. If I mess up, right? If I hire a really crappy, let's say, programmer, and they're like accidentally make it so this company says it's google.com
or the government
or NSA
or
NSA.gov.
I'm thinking the government
or FBI.gov.
Yeah, because the governments around the world do this all the freaking time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of times like the Russian government will like route all requests from some weird website like through their Russia and
or China.
It's China, totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like so what happens is it could be literally a mess up, and the mess ups happen. They're called announcements, announcements,
Yep.
and they could be a mess up, and that you could literally take down Google.com. There's literally only one way to take down Google.com because they're so good. And it's literally because there's no way to fix this problem at the BGP layer. And if I'm a stupid small company, I can announce that I'm Google.com and I can take down Google.com.
That's not entirely correct. They can fix it. They don't fix it. You can.
They want to
individual nodes can choose not to trust that data from other nodes. And if it's set up a little bit better.
No, I hear what you're saying, but the wide internet is not.
I agree.
Up
I
like
agree.
that.
I agree. I agree. You're
there
right.
There are some improvements being tried to be made. But
there are things that you can do to make this not as easy as
Hush
an
actually
attack, basically.
Hush just learned about these autonomous system numbers. So
wait, what?
Yeah. So Bitcoin.
What do you mean Hush just learned about? You didn't know as a lead developer. You didn't know about this?
Let me explain. So autonomous system numbers just got into Bitcoin Core like a few months ago. Okay, so they're called ASN maps, and basically it prevents certain attacks. So if your attacker is not on different ASs, then it that's suspect. It makes your node able to be aware of different networks, just not that are more detailed than just different IP addresses. It helps you identify attackers basically. So Hush just merged that in too, and we have that. So it basically helps you protect against people that want to like be all of your peers and be all your nodes and then lie to you. So it can detect like, oh, there's too many people from one autonomous system, like too many of my nodes are from one autonomous system, I'm going to get rid of some of those and get some new ones, stuff like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It makes sure you have like a diverse set of peers, so no one person is lying to you, trying to tell you something that didn't happen, stuff like that. Yeah, privacy coins is a warfare. I mean, it's electronic defense, cyber war. There's a lot of different terminology that people use, but I mean, yeah, you're trying to keep your privacy, which every company in the world wants to mine and benefit and monetize and benefit from. So Hush doesn't monetize your data. We don't data mine. None of the stuff you can, obviously I'm not saying anything's perfect. I mean, the NSA is very good. I don't know what they have, but the Hush is not mining the stuff that you put in those encrypted fields selling it.
You gotta talk to TJ the Spy. He works for the NSA.
Yeah, like
we need to get you and TJ the Spy in on the same show.
I just want to give people a healthy paranoia that if anyone comes to you and is like, "Oh, those NSA people can't touch this stuff," like you should laugh in their faces. All right, like the NSA are the top with a few others, right? I like to call them the people with 3 or 4 letters. All right, they got the NSA, the FSB from Russia, you got the GCHQ from the UK, you got the CSE from Canada. So, those people are very good at what they do. They've been doing this since World War I, basically. You're not better than them, and you should have a healthy respect for those people. You should, have them in your threat model, but like, dude, if they're your threat model,
so
you're effed.
So yeah, it's yeah.
You should study them, but if your threat model is them, literally, you should not be using a computer.
Well, it gets more complicated than just not using a computer because they're tracing everywhere you freaking go too.
Well, yeah. Phones are computers.
Yeah, I mean, it's like how do you
don't use an electronic device if those people are your.
It's interesting. I actually have some ideas on how you can probably evade some of.
Did we finish talking about the 39 eyes though and all that madness and getting delisted? Were we sufficient in explaining
I don't know.
it all?
So yeah, let's go. I don't think we really talked about how Hush was delisted from the exchange or the announcement. So, can we talk about the announcement? Can we bring up the announcement, the original announcement?
What announcement? Yeah, what
wasn't there an announcement that Hush was going to be on an exchange? Can we bring that up? Is it on archive.org or something?
No, go to Twitter. It should be on Twitter.
All right.
So CoinEx, we were supposed to be on CoinEx. We were supposed to give away like 100,000 Hush and this huge marketing thing. People were excited. And basically, CoinEx wanted me to like.
Is it CoinEx.com?
Yeah, but it's like EX. Yeah, with a E. Yeah, I hate exchange names. There you go.
All right, and is this where I'm going to?
I don't know. I mean, this is all I don't know. We're not on here, so I mean, they're an exchange.
But they had made an announcement. Can we see this announcement somewhere, or is it because they pulled it, right?
If you go to Hush Twitter, we did announce it on our Twitter, but yeah, they did. They pulled it, I think. They wanted me to basically do stuff that would make Hush
Is it
trackable.
Hush.Twitter?
No, it's
MyHush.Twitter.
Twitter.com/myhushteen.
So I'm sorry, I don't use
It's
Twitter
okay.
at
You're
all.
Mastodon. No, it's okay. I totally respect Mastodon. If you scroll down a few, it's probably within the first few. There's that meme. Just scroll down this meme. We just had our first YouTube video. I just want to tell you, Hush just launched our YouTube channel yesterday. We don't have to look at that, but keep scrolling. We have that. And then that's about. Oh, it's CoinEx. Yeah. So we are on this other exchange, Cytex. So if you have BTC right now, you can go to the Cytex exchange. I think that, but there's a lot of shenanigans going on right now. There's like kind of Komodo kind of attacked us. There's some stuff that's broken because coins are fighting, and so if you want to have fun, come join our Telegram. There's a lot of memes, and we want to give everyone privacy. So I don't know. There's a lot of details. Zcash stole some of my work. Yeah, click on that.
You mean they copied some of your work?
No, they stole it. I have lawyers. Yeah. It's cool.
Okay.
It's cool. It's public. I have lawyers. They know I have lawyers. Yeah, go back though. It's just the tweet. It's the actual image in the tweet that will show you. They took my work.
How did they?
Click the October 12th and then zoom out. Yeah, I know it's amazing. You don't know how to use. Yeah, click October 12th. Click that. No.
Oh, October 12th.
Click that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then zoom out, and you'll see a better representation.
Okay.
Okay. So I worked on something called Zip 400. It's the documentation for how wallet files work in Zcash. Zcash stole it from me. They took my name off it. They deleted all the history off of GitHub.
So they took credit for your work.
It's actually illegal. So there's actually U.S. laws about this. Cool, awesome, right? And then it's just a dick move basically. But yeah, they can't be trusted. They're not cool. They're dicks. I just wanted to document stuff, and they ignored it for like a year, and then I said, don't use my work. Like literally after they ignored me for a year, I was like, I'm gonna close out this, don't use my work. Like, and then they took it, stole it, deleted all the history, put their name on it, and I have my name is never mentioned. And I contacted lawyers, and they're like, there might be something here. So I probably shouldn't say more.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't talk about anything legal.
Let's go back to what else is going on? Scroll down a little bit more. Zcash knows what they've done. So yeah, we got the halving coming up. Z to Z, ready to rumble. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. Our Twitter is a good way to keep track of our.
All right, but where is this announcement? Is this
what announcement? Nothing gets announced. What you think in privacy coins? Like I don't. What I told you was.
Where's the press release, man? Where's the press release?
No, there's nothing official like that.
I thought I was under the impression that the exchange had made some sort of announcement.
No, dude,
somewhere
you got lied to. So
I got lied to. Okay,
yep.
I got misled. Okay.
Yep, you were lied to in this.
All right, and I thought then it got pulled or something, and it then didn't end up.
Here's the real deal.
So what happened? You tell me the story.
Duke Leto was told how they should. They tried to tell me how things should work, and then I told them they were incorrect, and that would be a way to reduce privacy and surveil Hush users. And they tried to tell me that I was wrong. And I'm the person that writes 15-page white papers and finds CVEs. So
what is a CVE?
That's a bug important enough that like the U.S. military keeps track of it and stuff. So important bugs. So I don't care what people say or think if they don't do actual work. Like I'm there. I'm in the field doing the actual work. So
you're talking to the people who are implementing your work, and they're telling you that you're wrong.
What do you mean?
So basically, they're implementing your work in their system, correct?
I documented an undocumented thing, and then they took my documentation as their own, put their name on it.
Are you talking about Zcash, or are we talking about the exchange? And
I'm talking about Zcash. Yeah, I got confused by your question, so I'm sorry. So you want to know about the exchange, right?
Right. Isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got confused. The exchange was trying to surveil people via FATF.
Right.
And I said no.
Okay.
Do you need more details? I don't think you want more details because they get really, really
And they told you that
technical.
you were wrong, right? Okay, so you basically were being told as the lead developer of the project that they're just implementers of, right? That you're wrong by somebody who probably barely knows how to implement what
I literally
you're
said,
writing.
please read this white paper and then tell me I'm wrong. And then they didn't know what to say. So yeah, I wasn't just like, I tried to explain like, yo, I know 1,000 times more than you guys.
Were they saying that you're wrong from a legal perspective, or were they saying you're wrong from a technical perspective? Because
they were
could
trying
make
to,
the difference.
I think that they just didn't realize that I would push back so hard on a thing.
Okay.
And that
because
they didn't realize that surveillance was so important to us.
And I think
because no exchange knows or cares about privacy.
Right. And I think you are if I understand correctly, it's the crypto coins that have to suck up to the exchanges in order to get listed usually, right?
I'll explain it to you. The shittier and smaller, the smaller you are, it's like you have to pay to get onto an exchange, right? But then once you become like popular or big enough or whatever, like for instance Bitcoin and Monero, they don't pay to get on any exchange.
Of course not.
Right? But like smaller coins like Hush, we're kind of, some exchanges would list us for free, some wouldn't. Like, whereas if you're a really small unknown coin, you really are going to pay a lot of money, like at least like a tenth or a quarter, or maybe even some people have quoted me 5 Bitcoin or more to be listed, 10 Bitcoin to be listed. So it's a huge money making racket to run exchanges, because if you have some weird project that's willing to pay to get on your exchange, then you just rake it in. So they're very scammy. I don't like centralized exchanges at all, and that's why I'm working on HushDex, which is.
So what is the HushDex?
We already looked at it.
Yeah, so it's a decentralized exchange. I know. I'm asking again because I want more information from you, man.
Okay.
So what is it? Give me more details. Like, how does it work?
HushDex solves a very particular problem. It does not solve lots of problems. It does not solve the problem of turning US dollars into Hush. I don't even want to hear about that problem. Okay, I'm sorry, but I don't care. Like,
all right, so
I don't care.
You ultimately have to buy Bitcoin.
I don't touch fiat.
Or some other.
I only write the code. I don't want to know about the fiat interchange. So
you have to buy Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency that you can get with dollars.
But
and then
you buy a physical miner with your dollars.
Ah, right. That's another good way to do it. Okay.
There you go.
All right. And then so what happens? So you have what does the exchange do then exactly?
You can trade, let's say, 5 Hush for 7 Zcash, or 3 Zcash for 9.7 Hush, or whatever it is, whatever exchange rate you want, whatever it is. It's a cross-chain swap.
All right,
it's a cross-chain shielded swap. I don't know if I'm using too many weird terminology.
No. I think you're okay. So if I wanted to get Hush and I don't want to buy a miner, right?
Okay, so here, no, I see what you're doing. So I'll tell you, I'm not afraid for Zcash to know. I'll tell you, all the Zcash people will probably listen to this because they don't like me, but they want to study me. So we're stealing the market cap from Zcash, and by that, what we're doing is, I want to say everyone that has Zcash in a Z address right now. So let's say you're Alice and you have Zcash in a Z address, right?
Okay.
I'm going to be Bob and I have Hush in my Z address. Okay. Let's just say we're going to trade 1 for 1 because one day that will be true. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the deal is that you can stay in your Z address in Zcash and I can stay in my Z address in Hush, and we can do this little dance where like the high level is that we can like automate sending little bits back and forth, and if it ever stops at any part, you can it all goes back. You would get your portion and I would get mine. But if it like completes, then you get your 1 Hush and I get my 1 Zcash. And that question you asked before of does the address work on multiple chains? Well, if you own an address on Zcash, you also own the exact same address on Hush, and vice versa. So you don't even need to use that, but it's nice to have. It makes things interoperable. It makes certain things easier. Does that?
Yeah. So it basically allows you to exchange cryptocurrency without going through a centralized.
No selfie.
Entity.
No giving your email. There's no email. There's no phone number, there's no address, and yes, and that's because it's totally decentralized. It's like BitTorrent or Tor. There's no centralized service.
I want to back up a moment and say, how do I actually go about getting this? It's software, I'm presuming, that you download.
We're
to your
gonna
computer?
put this in our.
Is it available yet?
It's not available yet.
Okay.
It's gonna be inside of our Silent Dragon wallet. So we have our main GUI wallet is called Silent Dragon, just the name.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
so you'll be able to do this in a wallet.
Yeah.
Is that then a multi-crypto wallet?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's like basically. You're right. It is. It kind of does become a multi-coin wallet. It's a multi-coin privacy wallet. The deal is though,
that sounds really awesome.
It might not have all features. Like, so for instance, I don't want to say anything more, actually.
We're going to have to do another interview with you when it's released.
That's me editing it.
All right. Okay. All right.
But no, you're right that, for instance, Alice, you being Alice and me being Bob, I might be trading Zcash for Hush in one exchange, but then Hush for Zcash in another exchange. So we're both going to have a little bit of Hush, a little bit of Zcash. Hush is trying to make it so that the huge, much larger market cap of Zcash, that they can get into Hush, right? Like, there's way more people with Zcash than Hush, so we want to give them an easy on-ramp. And so that's what HushDex is. If you already have Zcash, then you can easily get into Hush. So that's kind of the whole point of HushDex. We can add other coins. Other privacy coins can come to us and pay us to be listed. HushDex can support various coins. So the pairs will be in Hush. So the first pair is Zcash/Hush. So let's say you wanted to add another coin, your new coin, you can add, it would be in whatever Hush. And so you could swap. We're only doing privacy coins though. I already have people from Mimblewimble community asking me if it's possible to do it, and it seems like there's some movement there. So privacy coin people are interested in it. I don't know if people outside the privacy coin people understand what we're doing. That's kind of just normal day job. Like, no one understands privacy coin people. But yeah.
You guys are too weird.
we are.
So I got a question now. I'm really interested in this stuff, all these privacy coins. What I want to know is, when am I actually going to be able to? I mean, I know I'm getting way ahead of you guys in terms of where you're at, but when am I going to be able to actually spend Hush?
What do you mean spend Hush?
When am I going to be able to go into a merchant and actually spend it?
Like this Hush phone thing?
All right, we'll talk about the Hush phone thing.
Wow,
but that's not what I was getting at.
Damn, thanks for setting me up for that, man. Yeah, no, I mean,
so what's the Hush phone?
It's very hush hush. I can't say much about it, but there is a Hush phone. I have basically Hush is going to be everywhere: desktop, mobile, tablet, all over the place. So you're going to have Hush Chat mobile. You're going to be able to do all this encrypted messaging stuff on the phone. So, and this phone has no SIM card. That's how we recommend using it. So phone numbers were created to surveil you. So
I'm curious,
Hush phones,
is the modem disabled?
Not on this specific device. So here's a detail. Like, this is a prototype. I can tell you all the details about it because it's actually, like, we're not going to use this system. So this is using Graphene OS, which is a fork of Android to, like, add all kinds of crazy features, and it's cool. It's more secure. It's de-Googled. So this is de-Googled Android. If you go to, there's a HushDroid link. Like, if you go to myhush.org/HushDroid, you'll find stuff. And so this particular one is de-Googled Android, Graphene OS, but I don't trust. Oh yeah, /HushDroid. /HushDroid. You lost the slash there, buddy. That's not gonna work. All right. So it should redirect somewhere magical. Yes, scroll down a bit. That keep scrolling down. So that's actually instructions on how to install this, and it links to a YouTube video, I think.
Okay.
So and it explains some of those docs are old and stuff. We're actually going to get away from Android. We're actually calling it Hush Phone now and not HushDroid.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the whole Android platform is not secure and not private enough for Hush.
Well, duh.
So I really like the Pine phone. We're researching and working into Pine phone stuff.
Pine phone is like probably the solution if you can make it work.
I like the dip switches. I like the physical switches. I like that the whole Android system got removed. I like that Java got removed.
Well, I
don't know all the internals.
How familiar are you with it? Because the modem is separate from the device's main memory. So you have a security.
That's cool.
Are you familiar with how the modem firmware can read the memory of the main device usually on all phones? Well, that's not the case with the Hush. I'm sorry, that's not the case with the Pine phone.
Well, the Hush phone. Well, so just to tell people like what we're talking about, because I think that we're like two little nerdy kids in the computer store.
Sure.
But so these Pine phones are for developers, and why they're better is that you can turn off things by a switch. So you can turn off the GPS, you can turn off Bluetooth, you can turn off.
It's even better than
Wi-Fi.
that. That's it's I'm just blown away by like how so there's other devices where you can turn stuff off. It's not just being able to turn off, it's the fact that there's separate memory for the modem than
awesome.
the device that holds your encryption keys.
That's awesome.
If the government can update the firmware, which they can, of the modem, they can also read your encryption keys, and any kind of security on your phone just goes right out the window.
No, that's a great defense in depth. So for people in information security world, InfoSec, yeah, like that's a defense in depth, and you always want to have many layers of defense. Like just like think of like a castle siege, like you don't want there to just be one wall and then the whole army friggin', if they get through that one wall, then they're stir it, like make it a few walls, like make there a few layers.
Right.
So
yeah, I think the Pine phone's cool.
So Hush is probably going to go to the Pine phone because I do not trust Bluetooth at all. I never want. I literally I would solder Bluetooth off the phone. Like I hate Bluetooth. Is not safe.
Have you got your hands on one of these Pine phones?
No, I need to.
No, so I actually have one of these Pine phones, and
I saw Bob's.
Yeah, well, okay, so technically it's not mine.
I'm sorry, that's
his,
metadata.
but
it's metadata leakage. I'm sorry.
It's no, it is. I wasn't trying to.
We really need a person named Alice, though.
Right? Oh. Anyway, I will not. It's an inside joke, I think. I don't know if
Alice and Bob and Charlie. Yeah, there's a whole. I mean, there's actually 26 names, and they like Judy is a judge. Like literally, all these different attackers have different first names. Yeah, cryptography people. We come up with these scenarios of Alice and Bob and people attacking them so often that there's a whole terminology of like Alice, Bob, Charlie, and all these other names that do weird stuff. So yeah, Mallory is a malicious listener, and so all this stuff.
So is there? I am curious. Have you thought about how merchants might be able to? I totally understand that like you're not really there yet, but how merchants might be able to someday accept this?
Yeah, it's really we're like so bleeding edge that
it's way too far.
It's like it's so hard to turn fiat into our stuff that using it to buy coffee is kind of like, first of all, if 5 cents of something gives you 10,000 encrypted messages, then do you want to spend like 50 of those on a cup of coffee, or do you want to have like 500,000 encrypted messages? I'm just gonna say, like, spending a privacy coin to get something that doesn't give you privacy, maybe that's not a good idea, and I'm gonna just say that out loud. Right. Like, so it's privacy coin tech. It's meant for privacy tech. It's not. Okay. You could use it to buy coffee, but
sure.
But you're not using the whole privacy tech part.
Well,
so
obviously,
why not use BCH, right? Why not use Bitcoin Cash to buy that coffee and save store of value?
I think the answer is, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think the answer is because if I go and I spend I
think that Hush is a very good competitor to BCH. I think that we are the best competitor to BCH. I'll tell you why. Hush has the same super low transaction fee, basically like 1,000th of a penny or something.
Right.
At current prices, it's like crazy less than a penny.
For the moment, anyway. It's
very
cheap.
Right? So, but where BCH can compete with us, we both have the same low fees, but BCH doesn't have privacy. We have the low fees and privacy. So if you want to keep it private, that how much your coffee costs, like that, you could do it with Hush and pay a low fee. But you're burning this store of privacy for coffee that doesn't give you privacy. That's just my thing that I make people think about. I mean, the all-time high value of Hush is $18 per coin, or 20, or I don't know, it depends on what you look. It's like 5 or 7 cents now. So certain people, they sold, just like Bitcoin, you sell it at a certain number and then you might be sad later.
So I mean, I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is it's I mean, security is kind of like you don't have it or you don't. You pretty much never have it.
I like to think of it as a spectrum, just like Asperger's.
Yes, it's very much like
Did Asperger's. I say that?
So No, like, okay,
But it's true.
security.
It's a spectrum. You never have perfect security is death, and no perfect lack of security. I mean,
Right.
that rarely happens.
The question is it harder to come after you than it is to come after somebody else? And if it's harder to come
Yes.
after you, you have more security than somebody else.
You don't have to be the
You don't
fastest
have
runner.
security.
You don't have to be the fastest runner. You just have to run faster than your friends.
Exactly.
It's a very true statement.
Yeah.
And it comes, I don't know where it originally comes from, but it's a very old saying. And I think it probably comes from, humans were probably hunted by things in the woods that were bigger than us, like bears and lions and whatever. And if you weren't the slowest, you survived.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
So, and it's still true today. You don't have to be the best, but if you're the worst, then someone's coming to get you.
This is exactly why I was trying to say, well, I want to be able to spend Hush on my coffee.
All right.
Right.
No, so here's the deal.
Because it's not.
No.
It's not
all right.
about-
I'll throw the gauntlet down.
Yeah.
AnyPay won't support Hush. Go get them to support it.
Well, right. Fuck AnyPay. Okay.
Fuck AnyPay.
I'm not. I'm not.
No, they wanted to charge Hush $50,000 to add support, even though I helped them with Zcash bugs for free. So we won't talk about that anymore. But if you do want to use them, you need to tell them that charging a free software project $50,000 to get added to their system when we don't charge anyone for our software is a big, hilarious joke.
Yeah. So okay. All right. So let me back up a second. I like AnyPay, but I don't like everything that AnyPay does. Right.
I respect their business. I don't get along with the founders. I think that's a very
Steven
honest.
is a very hard guy to get along with.
That's an honest and direct statement. And actually, I think it's actually Steven. Me and Steven are the one, that don't vibe as much.
Derek J is cool.
Me and Derek J.
Steven is the
and what it is me and Derek J get along well. I helped Derek.
All right,
I helped Derek J with Zcash.
Right,
I thought we were good. And then they quoted me $50,000. I was like, what the fuck?
Steven, all right, so don't take this personally. They're just really bad business people, is what it comes down to.
Well, they're gonna listen to this now.
And Steven he's like us, right? So it's it's a very
speaks his opinion. Yeah, no, I respect.
It's a very
I respect
complicated situation.
That speak their opinion.
And what I like to tell other people is try not to be too upset when people say stuff that you don't like, because you do the same thing to other people.
Yeah.
So
I try.
Anyway, and that's okay, but we just have to all back up and realize
the F up.
Back up and realize not to take things too personally.
Wow. Tell that to Komodo KMD, man. They're adding KYC to their whole coin. So just to back up a little bit, the reason why there's this big war is like the people that we kind of shared our code base with and worked on a lot of stuff, they're adding KYC surveillance to everything. And then we found out that their CTO works with the Austrian military, and that was pretty concerning. And then he was a blockchain analyst for the Austrian military. That was really concerning. And basically, KMD is going down the pooper.
We never actually talked about what Komodo is.
Komodo, I mean, it's another coin. It's similar to Hush in that you can create other coins with it, but they don't focus on privacy. So they focus on like all the other things. So there's a whole.
So why?
I don't want to
they...
market them, but I used to be a Komodo developer for about 2 years. Like I was. So I'm Hush now, but I was a Komodo person for, let's say, 2-ish years.
Why did Komodo...
It has a lot of my bug fixes and code in it,
sure.
KMD. They should be very thankful.
Why does Komodo want to attack Hush? Because that's what, if I understand correctly, that's what they're doing, right?
Hurt.
Why are they butthurt? Is it because of you?
It's because Hush is better than them.
Okay, and so they did. We said that they did a DOS, general service.
They turned off some stuff they turned off some production servers with no notice to be buttholes.
Okay.
I don't know that anyone's gonna know all the terminology that I say, but basically, people turned off some production things to break some stuff on purpose, and some servers are unhappy and things are poopy, but nothing permanent, all just a bunch of temporary, all in a day's work on the crypto coin blockchain developer, stuff. But there's a little bit of smoke and colored smoke and fires and stuff.
So I mean, I want to back up and go back to AnyPay, to be honest.
Sure.
So AnyPay is not doing everything in the most optimal way, right?
I think
we
that
know
they're
this.
fruiting up a little bit. I wanted to say
They're
fucking up, but
they're definitely fruiting up. I'll go with that word.
I thought that the word I thought that would be misinterpreted, and then I just wanted to say fucking up. Okay.
Well, they're definitely fruits.
Respect to all the pirate stations out there.
Yes,
but not pirate coin.
They are the gayest two guys. They're a couple, Derek and Steven, and they are behind AnyPay.
Metadata leakage, but whatever. I didn't say it.
This is public information.
It's public.
It's not anything they're hiding or keeping a secret. They're not in the closet or anything like that.
Oh,
so
there's dick pics that are public. So yeah, there's not much that isn't public.
These are the most flaming homosexuals that you will ever meet. Okay. Anyway, so.
Okay.
And this is coming from a gay guy, okay? I know I may not be flaming, and you probably wouldn't know that I was gay if I didn't tell you. But anyway, yes, I have a partner. His name is actually Bob, and he's a developer.
I hope he has
a
partner named Alice. Just say.
If he does, it's that would be news to me, and it would.
I would be very interested in this development, just so you know.
Yes, I would. I am not aware of any affairs that he's having, and he's doing a really good job of keeping him secret.
I hope Bob's not listening to this.
He does not. Well, all right. You know what? The metadata leakage thing. I think I need to stop at this point.
Yeah, you really should. All right. What else should we talk about with Hush and? So Zcash really is like they're working directly with, let's say, like Interpol and the FBI and the U.S. Marshals and the DEA and all of those people. Like Zcash, Zcash
is okay.
Works directly with all those people. Yeah.
Okay.
So all those people I just said, they fund programs to research Zcash and Monero at companies. So imagine, I call it the military industrial surveillance state, and what they're doing is they're monetizing your privacy, and they're taking all your data and they're monetizing it. They're selling it to the police. Okay, literally, Zcash is selling your data to the police when they're telling you they're a privacy coin. They pay the main guy over $200,000 a month. Why does the CEO of Zcash get paid $200,000 a month, not a year? And there's no privacy for 4 years. Okay,
minute, weren't you just talking a couple months ago about how you were going to sell out your users for blockchain because of an exploit that you found?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, seriously.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't. No, I'm not trying to be facetious. Like, I'm not even sure. So much stuff happens in my life. Like, so many exploits and weird stuff happens. Like, there's a lot of exploits that I'm sitting on. Like, if people doubt it, go ahead and attack Hush. Like Komodo, KMD. JL 777. Send your dogs. Attack Hush. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay.
All right. Let me go back to that. Let me go back to AnyPay because I want to know. AnyPay. We need like an alternative to AnyPay because AnyPay is not decentralized enough for me.
I want to I would help anybody. So I'll just tell you right now. I could help someone compete with AnyPay, like as a consultant. Like I have all the skills. I wanted to give it to AnyPay. I wanted to teach them how to not fuck up and run their back end securely with right confirmations and everything. They don't want to listen to me. And so I think that they need a competitor to put them out of business in New Hampshire that runs all the, competing, point of sale system and just push them out. So if someone wants to contact me and help them do that, like I have all the back end knowledge. I can't be the dude that runs your backend, but I could like train the dude or find them or interview them. And yeah, if you want to push AnyPay out, man, let's do it.
I'm not so much looking to push AnyPay out.
I know. Look at you. You're such a nice guy. I'm not nice.
I want to see.
I'm not nice
what I
want to
see is I'd rather see AnyPay, and in some respects, AnyPay has already gone that way, but it's been mostly because the government has forced their hand because they can no longer operate or have a hosted wallet effectively.
See, if they would have talked to me a long time ago when I tried to offer them advice, they wouldn't have been, so screwed over by not understanding the technology.
Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on them. I don't want to go that. I'm not looking to badmouth AnyPay.
Not going to like that. Well, I'll just say, neither of them are Bitcoin core developers. Neither of them are Zcash core developers. Neither of them have code in any coin, and I have code in about 50 coins.
Steven actually.
Wait,
Steven is.
How many coins does he have code in?
He worked for.
No, in the coin though, not like in a JavaScript wallet.
I'm not sure his...
I promise you he doesn't. And if someone...
Okay, I'm not sure
I want to
his,
be proven wrong, but I bet you he doesn't. And
well,
that's me being a bit cocky.
What's
That's me
what's
being
the
a bit
government
cocky.
coin that
Oh,
for the
God.
banks?
Tether and shit? Dude, that
Was
doesn't
it
count.
Tether? No, I don't think it was Tether.
Dude, stable coins don't count.
No, it wasn't Tether. Tether's not the government coin. Oh man, it was a GovCoin. Steven worked for them, and that's how he
I
made
don't
all
know.
his
And
money.
I actually have never worked with him. He seems to be a smart guy.
Anyway.
I think I
Well,
have more experience than him, and that's me being
yeah. He basically
older than him.
My,
I'm just older.
My understanding is Steven is actually a software developer. I don't know, and I know he's worked for cryptocurrency. In the cryptocurrency.
He implemented the back. He's the guy that implemented the back end of AnyPay. So I'm just saying that I've done more because I'm a weirdo. That's all.
Look. I certainly think that they've made a bunch of mistakes from a business side of things and from a development side of things as well.
And that is because they didn't have someone like me to explain the code to them.
I understand why they did some of the things that they did and went the route that they went.
Sometimes you have to make purely business decisions where the technology doesn't matter. You just got to pay for the light bill, and make sure that
I don't know this because they're not very... Steven is not that talkative, and Derek is really not that talkative either. But I think the reason they went the way they went is because effectively, it was the easiest way to get up and running, and rather than fork a wallet or whatever and put a front end on it, it was easier to basically just write a simple web interface. And
doing the simplest thing does not a good idea make.
Yeah, no, especially long term, right? And so
especially long term.
One of their objectives was to compete with BitPay. And how were they going to do that? BitPay they only accepted Bitcoin, and the fees were so high, so they were basically inserting themselves into a time period which they had to get out
really
something
smart.
Out really fast.
The time that they did it,
and they succeeded.
I think you remember the debacle where they tried to only support like BSV or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I heard
there's
that
a
really
bunch
deep
of
pause. Yeah.
There's a bunch of decisions that were not great.
It's like, wow. Okay, I'm not even gonna say like supporting BSC, whatever. Like, if you want to support it, whatever. But only like requiring it, like that was like full LSD trip. Like that was like what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So AnyPay, we all make mistakes, right? So AnyPay, if you're listening, keep doing what you're doing. Keep fucking that chicken.
The thing I will give them credit for, though, is they've done what other people talk about, and
I respect them for doing.
I respect them.
Yes. I respect people who do a thing and do it imperfectly.
There are so many talkers, and there's so few doers in the world.
Yeah.
Hey,
fail fast and fail often is a startup thing that everyone should know. If you're doing if you're just sitting in a chair waiting for it to be 5 p.m.
I got a feeling that AnyPay is going to be around a long time and probably fail.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is.
It's probably because of the bad decisions.
You
want
to make many small failures.
But
and learn
we'll see.
Them.
We'll see. I think there's going to have to be a competitor.
I hope that they will add
AnyPay.
privacy coins. I will be happy to help them add Hush or Z. I tried to have them add Zcash. They actually did add Zcash, and there wasn't enough volume for them to basically care to run the Zcash server, so they turned off Zcash for AnyPay, which is kind of lame. So they should just let people use Zcash, even though Zcash sucks. Like, let people use Zcash. Jeez.
All right. So here's the thing. I kind of sympathize with them on the not supporting every cryptocurrency, and I understand why they're not supporting all these cryptocurrencies now. They've actually removed most of the cryptocurrencies.
What are the ones that they use support now?
The ones I believe they support now are Dash, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash, and I wouldn't have gone the route they went because it does require more work in some respects, especially when it comes to supporting these cryptocurrencies than doing it otherwise. But there are also some good reasons to have done it the way they did it. One of the things that does actually work well is if you centralize it, then you could potentially more easily accept any number of cryptocurrencies, possibly, and then not actually have it be super complicated. Because like right now, one of the problems is if somebody, and I'm talking about from a merchant's perspective, right? If a merchant has to set up each wallet, right? They have to set up a Bitcoin wallet, they have to set up a Bitcoin Cash wallet, they have to set up a what's the other one? What did I say? Dash wallet.
Dash.
So they have to set those wallets up, and then they have to enter them into AnyPay, right? Well, if it is centrally hosted, there is the opportunity to do conversion. Now, it could be done with a.
That gets into a whole lot of things called money transmission.
Well, they
laws.
already had that problem, though, remember? And they've got moved away from that.
Also,
by
the idea of custodial. Like, we've never said the word custodial yet in 2 hours and 23
No, we
minutes.
did.
And
I did. I said it once.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if most people know that word. I think.
No. I said hosted wallet.
No,
I said hosted wallet.
Custodial is a very important term. Custodial means that someone else owns your money and you don't own it. Okay. So not your keys, not your coins. Custodial.
That's what a hosted wallet is.
Okay, I didn't know actually what you meant. So dude, I use legal terms and it's custodial. I didn't know what you meant actually.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I think that is the legal term, and I'm using the non-legal term too.
Yeah. So we want to use the legal term. So custodial means that someone else controls your money, and that's when
they
the
control
government.
your keys.
Well, that's when the government gets involved. So that's like a bank. So for instance, if you want to just be like a bank in the United States, you can't just set up shop in your front lawn and have a bag of money. You have to go fill out forms, and you have to have about $5 million. And literally, the U.S. government, oh, okay, cool, you're a bank now, and then you've done the thing. But money transmission laws are very, very
well. There's also money transmitter licenses that aren't necessarily you're not necessarily a bank, but yeah.
So if you want to know more about that,
it's still super complicated.
New
right?
Hampshire is the freest place for money transmitters, and that's why you see so many ATM machine, Bitcoin ATM, Bitcoin vending machines, and stuff like that, because you don't have the money transmission. You don't have the additional state level money transmission laws as other states. Every other state, in addition to all the federal ones, you have all these state ones which are crazy restrictive.
I don't think that's correct. I think there's money
I
transmitter.
think that you're wrong, and you don't know, and you don't run Bitcoin vending machines in this state.
Hold on. I think you're wrong
Okay,
in that.
show me I'm wrong.
Let me explain.
Tell me
explain
I'm
what
wrong.
I mean when I say
But
you're wrong.
you remember that
yeah.
you told me that before, and I ended up being right. You remember that, right?
So I believe what it is that they've excluded crypto businesses from having to comply with the money transmitter rules, not that there's no money transmitter rules.
I don't think you're right about that.
I was at the hearing where they.
Oh, are you talking about a New Hampshire?
In New Hampshire, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about a New Hampshire?
Yeah, that's what you
rule?
just said. New Hampshire.
Well, I was talking about and then what? And then you're saying that when was this?
Like 2 years ago. It
2
passed.
Yeah, and what was the thing that? Yeah. So I'm saying New Hampshire is the freest place. Like you have the least amount.
You're right. You're right.
You have the least
I'm just
amount
like
of
one little
restrictions.
little minor technical.
You're right. I'll tell you, you're right. You're technically right, which is the best kind of technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. Right?
Sorry.
So no, we got to give it when it's correct. So yeah, I don't know. So just so everyone knows, I do not own or run Bitcoin vending machines or ATMs. I just know a lot about them because I help people that do. I help them set up the back ends. I help them debug problems in them. And
so we're both in communications with a lot of the same people, but I have to say I've probably been around here in New Hampshire longer with more of these people and talking to them.
You have.
And here during the whole process of the machines getting set up, as opposed to you have a little bit less communication with them.
I respect
so that's why
you. I respect you. You have.
There's some like minor little details. Like
New Hampshire is the easiest place to own one of these machines in terms of other states in the U.S. You have to go through many more hoops in other places.
Yeah, I believe if you are only selling cryptocurrencies in New Hampshire, there's nothing to worry about. The problem is if you take cash. Oh no, I'm sorry. If you take crypto and then you give cash, then you might be applicable to federal law, and that's a problem. So if you're running a two-way machine
is much more risky than a one-way machine. So one-way just means people put in dollars and get out Bitcoin. Yep. A two-way machine means it could do both directions, and that two-way machine opens up a lot more possibility for, let's say, shadiness.
Absolutely.
So but it's also a lot of people, like, they send money to their relatives. Like, let's say like you had a relative in Venezuela or somewhere else, like that's what a lot of this. If you read what these machines get used for, a lot of it is people sending their relatives money back home in a different country, and they're saving money because Western Union's screwing them over, friggin' charging them, $10 or 20% or whatever, some horrible thing. And then they figured out, like, oh wow, if I send mom Bitcoin, it's way better.
It's interesting. People have this perception that it's only used for illegal activities, but it's actually not. A lot of what people are doing is they're simply avoiding and evading the basically the bank taxes, the banking tax, effectively. And what I'm referencing, or the government tax, and basically what I'm referencing is the fees that they charge merchants to basically accept credit cards and to have a bank account and to have a merchant account. And
be locked out of that system too. Like a lot of people, so many people are locked out of ever having a checking account or a banking account. What are those people supposed to do?
That's
that
true
they can use Bitcoin. They can use these machines. So some people call it about the unbanked. I don't know. I don't really like that term. I think it's a marketing term. But I think that our capital controls, our banking systems, it's set up against poor people. And if you get a mark, if you get up a mark against you, so for instance, people outside of the U.S. are going to listen to this. So we have a system here which banks can't actually legally surveil you. Like there's a lot of laws that banks can't actually like keep track of all citizens to see which ones they should give accounts or not. So they got around that by all banks got together with one company called Checks Systems, with the X, and they surveil all U.S. citizens. And then let's say like you write a bad check one day, like your bank account's low and you don't do the thing, and you get in their system, like you're blacklisted from ever getting a checking account in any U.S. bank and probably a banking account, or you're never going to get a loan.
No more debit card.
You're
no
not
more
you're out of the system.
Credit cards.
Yeah, I mean, you're out
if your credit history isn't good, if you filed for bankruptcy, you're screwed. You can't buy anything online without maybe a money. Do places even take money orders anymore?
Not Amazon. I mean,
you're basically cut off from doing financial transactions on the internet.
That's why I think Bitcoin and Hush and things like that. Like I don't make the decision of who gets to use Hush, just like Satoshi doesn't decide who gets to use Bitcoin.
I know somebody who was young and at one point, and he didn't have a bank account. He couldn't he couldn't do any of the things that normal people do, and he wasn't like impoverished really or anything of that nature. He just didn't have a bank account, and we're talking about a white guy from like Boston, basically. So people are out there, and
yeah, I think that Bitcoin and crypto coins and Hush is a way to even it out for everyone.
He was actually buying stuff on the internet with cryptocurrency because he didn't have a credit or debit card.
That's the real good use of it. We call it magic internet money for a reason. You can just send magic internet money in a few seconds or minutes anywhere in the world to anyone in the world, and our ancestors didn't have that, surely. I mean, even people 20 years ago didn't.
Yeah, a lot of people are using it to buy stuff from overseas too. Like, so and by the way, if you are a merchant and you take a credit card from somebody overseas, you might be paying 4 or 5%, not the normal 2 or 3%.
Oh, also, what about chargebacks that happen 60 days later?
Yep.
Oh,
there are
some you know about
there are some places that if you try to purchase something from thinkpenguin.com, the credit card, the processor basically will reject the charge. It's not us. It's the banking system. It's the credit card processors that basically reject. Even though there's credit cards in these countries,
the whole system is corrupt.
You can't take their money. All right. And if we want to, we can ship to them, but we can't. But we can't take their credit cards. We can't take their the PayPal doesn't operate in those countries.
Corrupt system.
The only way you can pay us is using cryptocurrencies.
The old system is corrupt, and that's why Hush doesn't integrate with it. So it is hard to, like, let's say, turn a US dollar into Hush, but that's because that old system is really corrupt. And if we touch it at all, we get infected by this huge, horrible madness that AnyPay and Komodo and all these exchanges are doing. Hush is too smart for that. We don't do that. We're like BitTorrent. We're peer-to-peer. Okay, so let me tell you an example. Zcash has a company in Switzerland that owns a sub-company in the U.S., which has a nonprofit in the U.S. to deflect taxes, okay? That's what Zcash did. Other shady stuff happened, but whatever. Hush has never had a company. Hush has never had a foundation. Hush will never have
Hush
those
is a
things.
real free software project.
Yeah, it's a real decentralized.
That's just a money-making scam.
It's not a money-making scam. There's no company. There's no foundation. There's no anything like that. There never will be.
Is there a rewards, founders reward or
Yes.
something? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What's that?
10% of all block rewards goes towards running the project.
Cool.
It was 0 originally, and we basically ran out of funds like 2.5 years ago. Everything was real, way more fakakta than it is right now, I'll tell you. And everyone wanted me to restart and do things, and agreed that 10% was fair, and so I did that. I was really against the founders reward, and so I was a developer on Hush when Hush had 0% founders reward.
I'm actually not against founders rewards.
I am not against them now either, because you have to pay the server bills. Who pays for the server bill?
Yeah.
Who pays for the graphic designer? Who pays for the domain name? Who pays for the marketing budget to, like, let's say, get an ad somewhere? You gotta actually have that stuff, or the project has no funds. So it actually, now Zcash does 20%, and they promised they would never ever take more than 4 years. And then what happened after 4 years? They decided to do another 4 years. So it's a big friggin' scam, Zcash. They pay their CEO $200,000 a month to do nothing. He's never written a commit in Zcash, never written a commit in Bitcoin, never written a commit in any open source software that I've seen. And yet, he extracts so much value out of Zcash. And who's paying for that? It's the miners. All those miners are trying to get their Zcash, but they're paying. They're making sure that CEO.
It's actually kind of funny. I kind of feel like
I don't mind Zcash.
I kind of feel like
I mind Hush.
I kind of feel like there should be more, like, the rewards. Like, it's almost like I feel like 100% of the rewards maybe shouldn't go to the developers, but it should go to an organization with a set of promotional type of goals
every
and
coin
development costs
every coin
for implementing systems, from wallets to merchant services to decentralized stuff, right? Because ultimately, how are you going to pay for that otherwise? Are you going to ask for donations when you're a cryptocurrency project?
Look at all the open
doesn't make any
source
sense to me.
projects from the 90s that are begging for PayPal donations on the internet.
Right, you actually have
sad.
You actually have a free software project that's self-sustaining.
We do. Like, Hush is self-sustaining.
Why would you not have a founder's reward or something of that nature in order to fund the project?
You see,
it just blows my mind. And I'm not saying that, like, you really want to pay the people who basically do nothing except buy hardware and mine it? Like, that's where you want the money going? I mean, really? Is that really the best place for it?
They
I don't
secure
think
the
so.
network, though. I mean, yeah, but just the miners do secure the network. Like, that's what gives everything the security. Like, if miners aren't mining,
I get that, but how much is that actually worth, right? Like, I don't think it's worth anywhere near what they're getting relative to.
Yeah, it's all relative, I guess. I mean, Bitcoin miners do a lot of work for very little Bitcoin.
I mean. I follow what you're saying, but I still think it's one of those things that are like.
I agree. I hear what you're saying too,
It's okay. So they deserve something. I'm not saying they don't deserve anything. I'm just saying
some coins are more.
To have 100% of the rewards going to the miners does not make sense to me at all.
Well,
like,
that's
there
fine.
Are so
I don't
many
believe in what you're saying, but there's coins that do. And so, for instance, there's coins that do 50% proof of work, 50% proof of stake. And proof of stake means
you don't believe in what I'm saying, so you think they should get 100%? Yeah. You think the miners should get 100%?
Oh, no, I thought you meant 100% proof of work, or do you meant 100% founder's reward?
100% founder's reward.
Oh, okay, no.
Or no, I'm sorry, no. 100% to the miners.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, the original plan, the original Hush was 100% to the miners. I was a developer under that.
Right, and I don't think that's...
I got paid nothing.
I don't think that's a good way to do it. I think it would be much better...
And we ran out of money. We didn't have money to pay for, servers.
This is why I think it's much better to have a smaller chunk go to miners. I mean, assuming the system will still work, but and that's one of the problems. Like, I think it would be better if, like, all cryptocurrencies had funds going so that they're I mean, at the end of the day, you need to have the miners. But if there's miners, if all the different cryptocurrencies are competing for miners, right? You end up with a situation where the miners get the money, and there's not enough money to go towards development of software like merchant services, systems to help merchants accept cryptocurrencies and develop the cryptocurrency itself, and wallets, because you need to have a good wallet out there. You need to have things that are easy for users to use. You need to have marketing in order to scale it, and not just scaling it from like a payment perspective, but scaling it also from a as we talked about, it only supports 55 transactions a second. If you want to scale that to the level of credit cards,
that's per chain. So
I understand.
No, that's a good. But you're right. And
if you want to scale it to the level of credit cards, I'm not sure if the per chain thing will actually scale to that level.
No, you're right. No, so you're making a valid thing.
I mean, I'm thinking long term here, guys, not necessarily short term.
I would say that competing with credit cards is a weird thing. Credit cards is a very centralized system, and the only reason it can work so fast and seem magical is that it really doesn't work as well as it seems. Like,
well, credit cards are actually kind of slow as far as the way it's been rolled out and it's implemented. It's actually kind of slow. If you look at the way the pay protocol works, it's actually super fast and much faster than a credit card transaction.
You gotta send me a link to this thing now, because I feel like I know vaguely what you're talking about, but I don't.
Have you? You know what? You should stop in at Corner News, or actually any merchant that takes crypto and make a payment, because it's instant.
I did that recently, and I crashed my wallet, and then I crashed the store's wallet.
Okay, let me back up a second. You need to go in with a wallet like Edge or Dash or
I had accidentally updated to Android 11, but like Samurai wallet had an angry anus about that.
I don't remember if Samurai wallet might be on the list of wallets that support the pay protocol. I don't remember, but there's a list. Get one of those wallets and then use it at Corner News or one of the other places that take crypto and
the people there are knowledgeable about crypto coins, and they'll literally, like, there's different tablets for accepting like BCH versus BTC. So like, oh, do you have BTC or BCH? And they'll go get the right thing. And so they have a
whole new system, and it's integrated now. It's not the AnyPay tablet, so they don't have to go get anything. And it's really cool because it's all integrated into their system, so they don't have to like do accounting at the end of the day to reconcile the amounts. It's just in their normal system, and it shows where the credit card terminal is usually. Okay, well, the QR code comes up on the credit card terminal. You scan it, and what's really awesome, and this is also true of AnyPay now, this part of it. What's really cool is that how your wallet will tell you that your crypto has been sent?
Yeah.
Okay. That message takes longer to come up on your phone than for the system, the AnyPay system, and or this at Corner News. It's another system, but anyway, for their message to come up, so they're paid. The message will say paid on their system before it shows paid on your system, on your phone.
Is that a feature or a bug?
That's a feature.
Sounds like a devil's pen attack. I'm joking.
So it is okay. So let me back up. So the way the pay protocol works is it basically sends a message to AnyPay servers and the device. Okay, and so it then forwards the message onward to the nodes. Okay, and as a result, it knows about the the payment before your wallet sees it, because it can also reject it and just not forward it on, basically, if it doesn't like the payment. Now there's a security aspect issue potentially around this, and so that's why
it's custodial or not, I can't decide.
It's not custodial because it's just forwing on the message as opposed to them having an actual wallet, and
so it's passing along a hash of data.
Exactly. It basically looks at the information, says, is this good or not? Will we accept this or not? If they won't accept it, then it gets dropped, basically, or something like that. And if they will accept it, then they forward it onto the network, and your wallet will show as paid. And them now, obviously, you're trusting effectively the merchant processor, AnyPay, and the merchant, basically,
and you're using their wallet anyway, like, so, and 99,000% you're using the Light wallet, which is trusting their server, so it's already trusted so many ways that it's not adding trust.
It's also you have to remember that if you're talking about small transactions here, you wouldn't want to do this with a car, right? Like or a computer. Or
well,
something like that.
We remember that whole debacle about me and AnyPay disagreeing about confirmations and double spend attacks. So
Well, any pay doesn't protect against that. Well, remember, this is basically for smaller transactions or situations where, so there's no circumstance in which AnyPay is used where it's really going to be an issue. Okay, so basically you're talking about retailers like restaurants where
there was that
they're
one
already
bug,
trusting
though.
you.
Do you remember the bug? The what is it? The pay, that bug where you can change the fee and then mess up the merchant. Do you remember? Pay by fee. What is it called?
Yeah.
Replace by fee.
Replace by fee. Yeah.
That was a huge.
That's with Bitcoin, at least, for sure.
Yes. So it was only BTC transactions that had that bug.
What people have to remember is that you're competing with effectively people who are literally paying. They could otherwise walk out of the restaurant and not pay anyway, right? So it's not actually adding any more risk for most of these merchants. And the places where it maybe would sort of add some risk are places like maybe like a doctor's office, but the doctor's office already has all your information anyway to come after you later if your payment doesn't actually come through anyway.
I would say that it's fine for small transactions, but like me personally, I wouldn't use I guess it's hard to say, but small transactions, pizza, beer, and sodas, not cars, not diamond rings, not even
agree.
Computers, not like even like over $500 is like I wouldn't go so high,
Yeah, and it depends, but there's also other solutions potentially to protect against that type of situation that I'm thinking they should implement. So one of the things they could do, and I know this is like privacy no, but if you have a transaction that's a higher dollar value, they could get your driver's license just like they do for a check or some other
that's
medium.
Called KYC, man.
It's not that's not KYC really, but I do understand what you're saying is in that it
Pretty
is
much.
it is violating it's a privacy issue, but it's not KYC. KYC has to do KYC is more specific in that it has to do with government. This is a merchant protecting themselves from fraud.
No, that's actually different. Okay,
yeah.
So you're just saying purely to protect from fraud,
right?
They could take this now.
It's the same thing they do with checks.
But are they doing anything where like they keep it for a week and then destroy it kind of thing, or like what? Because if they keep it for ever, well, anybody can come ask them.
They only need it for so long.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't need to keep it.
If they have a good operations and they say we keep this until a chargeback can't possibly happen, and then we destroy it.
Right.
That's
I don't know,
decent,
and I don't know how the systems are currently implemented with checks, right? It doesn't really matter because you don't have to implement it that way with Bitcoin. A check you can end up having get rejected many months later. With crypto, that's not really the case.
It's only 90 days usually a check is valid.
Well, that's still 3 months.
Yes, I'm just saying, it's 90 days.
And credit cards are even longer. You can get a chargeback 6 months later. Even.
Yeah, you can get really weird, bad stuff.
Yeah,
that's why I like real money. I like real digital money, like Bitcoin protocol. That's what I consider real money.
As many issues as there are with cryptocurrencies and security, it's so much better, than it is with any other payment form.
At least we can keep making it better. At least it's open source. At least it's free software. At least everyone can look at it. At least we see the bugs and we can improve it. When it's all controlled and hidden by rich people, you have no friggin' hope.
Right. And this is a thing that always amazes me. It's like somebody goes into a store, they buy a computer, they pay with their credit card, and they walk out. There's no security there. Like people have this impression that somehow credit cards are like secure. No, they're not. Not for the merchant.
The security is that there's a local place called a police office that will intervene if something gets. No, but I'm just saying. but I'm saying no.
That ain't the real world.
No. This is actually.
I'm sure you're making a good point, but I'm just saying.
What I'm trying to say is that the system is not protected by math. It's protected by men with guns.
Right, exactly. And these are bad systems, right? We should be looking to get rid of those systems and replace them with better systems.
It's a very inefficient
that are protected
system.
by math.
Let's just say that you're a shitty company like Best Buy or whatever, and you want to not get screwed over with chargebacks. Like they should be using Bitcoin so they're not getting screwed over by chargebacks 89 days later. That's
not even the chargebacks are just one aspect of it, right?
Well, chargebacks are one of the largest costs to a
billions of dollars.
Well, to a business that takes credit cards, chargebacks are one
huge.
Of the largest costs because even one chargeback could be. I think the minimum chargeback is like $50 plus the charge of the cost. It's very expensive, and a person can do a chargeback against a company for any reason, and the company has to pay it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah,
So
more or less. It's not. I mean, it's not technically 100%, but it's more almost 100%.
they changed it. They changed it with the chipped cards now.
Yeah. You're
Before
you're right.
chipped cards, the person who owed money was different. Now it's different.
So
yeah.
yeah, it's the system is really bad.
It's
People,
bad.
and it's funny. We get people who occasionally get upset that we do verification with credit cards if it's over a certain amount. And
What kind of verification?
so if the address doesn't match the billing, and the billing is not match what's on file with the bank effectively,
Mhm.
or the financial institution, we will not ship the goods unless the customer verifies through a system that we have that's not exactly proprietary, but it's not used by many other companies, and so it actually works to stop fraud. But
I
they
mean,
have to
that makes sense
respond.
to me.
They have to respond and basically reach out to their bank in order to deal with this. Now,
Oh.
it's actually not that hard for 99.9% of customers. It's really easy, actually. However, there are a very small percentage of customers who don't know how to read or don't like to read or whatever, and it upsets them. And I understand that, but the problem is that you're buying a high ticket item, okay, from a merchant where
as a
there's
business owner,
a lot of fraud in the industry.
You're protecting yourself from fraud. I mean,
Right.
Literally, if you were selling, apples at the side of the road, I mean, you wouldn't leave it all day unprotected.
Look,
Someone
if
might
it's a
come by
$50 transaction,
and
we'll
take it all.
We'll take the risk.
Yeah.
But when you're buying an $800, $900, $1,000, couple $1,000 computer from us,
and there's potentially fraudulent stuff.
Right.
So just so you know, I have the programmer that literally adds credit cards to back ends of websites. Like, for instance, I worked at cdbaby.com. Like, they do like music and stuff in Portland. They're based in Portland. So, like, for instance, we had to change a credit card processor from one bank to another bank. Oh my God, it was horrific.
Probably a nightmare, wasn't it?
Horrific, like a 2-year friggin' process. And I was one of the team of developers that's doing all that shite work. So I know all there is to know about credit card processing backends, and that's why I love Bitcoin and real money, because I know how fucked up and stupid and broken credit cards are. It's a mess.
The whole financial system
mess.
is a mess. Okay, anything that connects with a bank, PayPal, the whole system is a mess. Everything works against the merchants. It increases costs for everybody, which means you're paying more every time you swipe a card, whether or not. And even if you never swipe a card, you're still paying more because other people swipe cards. And you're also paying more because even if the merchant almost never takes credit cards, right? Just because there will be fraud, okay, on the merchant, your prices are going to go up. So everybody is paying more. Credit cards are evil. The banking system is evil. Checks are evil. The PayPal is evil. Every other company is just evil that has any interaction with the financial system.
Yeah, we're just stuck in it. It's like the history of the world has made us stuck with that old system, but we have new tools, we have new math, we have new stuff that's way better, and everyone benefits. Like, everyone, the business owner, everyone. Like, you could have less fraud, you could be it faster, you could be more efficient. The problem is that no one can figure out who should be in control right now. It's like, is it Russia? Is it China? Is it US? Is it Bitcoin? Is it who?
Fuck that. I want to be in control.
Of course.
I want to be in control.
Everyone does. NSA and FSB and GCHQ surely do, So, I mean, everyone does. And that's why
you should be in control of you. I should be in control of
the game.
Yeah. So we need
to get an old crow told me that.
We need to get rid of the banking system. We need to get rid of the government, and then maybe we can start to talk about security for real. As opposed to this fictional thing that the government claims is our security that is basically ineffective and doesn't work, and 1 in 3 murders get solved, and most of the reductions in crime that have occurred over the years have been the result of not of policing, but actually the result of other environmental or other factors like fraud. Like, if you can go in and commit fraud, okay, you're not going to be going in and robbing a store, and that's effectively what's occurred in the criminal underworld. Instead of robbing stores with guns, people just commit fraud.
Yeah,
get rid of the cops, and a lot of the crime will go away.
Inefficiency. Yeah, just get rid of inefficiency in the system. Our money is very inefficient right now. We've got these little strips of paper that we throw around. They're silly. We got chargebacks.
Yep.
We got checks. We got like this whole ACH system. Do you know that when you do an ACH, that literally a human is checking every one of those, and that's why it takes 3 or 4 or 5 days? It's silly madness. It's
Ooh,
silly.
it's interesting that you say,
madness.
It's
Do you know that the ACH system moves things over around FTP files with a binary
Oh, God.
format that if one character is wrong, everyone else in the file gets the wrong payments? It's like the ACH system is such a tragedy. It shouldn't exist, but a company controls it and it profits from it. So we have ACH, and that's how you move money around between bank accounts in the US.
what's
people
funny?
outside the US.
Or kind of funny or disturbing, I don't know which. But if you ever write a check out and you send it to somebody, that person, theoretically, right, like you said, every single check basically gets looked at, right? That's actually not the case.
No, I'm not saying check. I'm saying ACH.
Okay, well,
ACH is when you do a bank transfer with your routing number to another person.
ACH is the same system that you use for checks.
But there's no piece of paper being given phically.
Right.
I'm just saying it's
okay. Yeah.
it's a
Technically,
different
you're
thing.
making a good point, but
Yeah.
it's one of those minute details again, just like I made with you.
Technically, I'm right.
You're right. Okay, so let's talk about checks for a moment, just because
Okay,
I want
checks. I hate checks. Yeah.
I know.
Catch Me If You Can. I mean, I hope everyone here, please go watch the movie Catch Me If You Can,
Yeah.
and
When
you'll know more about
When
checks.
you go into a bank, the teller will look at your check if you physically hand them the check to pay for, to deposit into your account. If you do that same check through the ATM machine, depending on where you bank, nobody ever looks at what's actually on the check. Do
you know what they do look at, though?
What?
The security cam footage of who put it in.
No, they don't. And let me tell you something.
They do.
Let me explain.
Banks have that.
They have it, but that doesn't mean anybody looks at it. And let me explain something to you. So, I don't want to tell anybody how I know this, but
Don't mention the place that you went to.
Effectively, I know. I'll just say I'll know of a situation because I don't want to say I know of a person.
I'll tell you that maybe it's not as bad as you think, but I want to hear your story.
All right. So I know I know of a situation where somebody deposited checks of a made out to a company into their personal checking account, which you cannot do ever. If you try taking a business check and trying to deposit at the teller into a personal account, they will tell you that they cannot do that ever, under any circumstance. Okay. Now, if you do the same thing into your personal check through the teller machine, nothing ever happens. It will go in 100% every single time.
It's trusting you, and that's because it knows everything about you. It has your full KYC. It knows your.
They know that when you go to the teller window too.
Yeah, but I'm just the teller can easily verify that. The machine, it'd be expensive for them to verify it, so they don't, and they know that if you do something illegal, they have
the point that I want
and maybe you're really good and you can get around the system.
Hold on. The point that I want to make is simply that
there is a bug there.
If there is not somebody looking at every one of those checks after the fact, because if they did, they would reject it and they would pull those funds from your account. They're not, and that's how this is what's interesting about this is if you're a criminal, right, and you're not and I mean criminal.
This is Chris's monologue.
I'm not saying a criminal from the perspective that you're doing anything wrong, but if you ever get like removed from the banking system and you want to like run a business, you can have somebody set you up an account and have a business where the checks are made out to the business name. And they won't allow you to have a business effectively, but you can go and deposit it into an account still. Like all the systems they have in place are flawed, like massively flawed.
And obviously people that want to do bad things, it's their job to know this. They know all this stuff.
Right.
It really,
that's the point. It's like these
bullshit,
systems are just costing us money.
It hurts average people, mom and pop, and then companies benefit from
that. It hurts everybody because we're all paying higher prices for it, and it doesn't even do anything to do. It doesn't solve the problems that people think they're solving.
Another thing that we didn't even mention is that KYC, all these identity documents get bought and sold on the dark web. You can literally go to all these sites and buy an identity to use on an exchange. So people hack all these shitty exchanges, and then they get your KYC, and then they sell it to someone else. And so it's a big, big, big mess. That's why I tell my users never, ever, ever give KYC to any service organization.
So have you ever made a payment through like PayPal or some sort of similar system? Like post, I'm trying to think what year it was, maybe 2000 and like, I don't know, 10 or something like that. Because one of the things they do with it's connected to KYC, but it's not quite KYC. It's I forget exactly what it's called. But basically, if you make a payment from your PayPal account to somebody overseas, normally there's not like a fee associated with it, right?
Okay.
Well, if you make a payment and it's coming from a balance, but if you make a payment and it's coming from a checking account because there's no money in your PayPal account, right? Your bank will charge you a fee because they have to know the data. They have to know the final person that money is going to. So PayPal has to forward that data to the bank.
This is getting weird.
Yeah, and that costs money, and it costs everybody a lot of money every year.
This sounds like a really inefficient system
because of
set
how
up by bureaucrats.
Messed up the system is, and most people don't see it because most people don't make those types of payments, But if you're talking about businesses, on the other hand, businesses, especially certain types of businesses, are going to end up having all these fees that are just extraordinarily expensive, and then those costs, they get passed on to the consumer. So we're all paying this extraordinary amount of money.
It's by design. The system is like this by design because the people who have set it up profit from its inefficiencies. They get kickbacks by the companies that profit from the inefficiencies.
You're
so
absolutely
think about
right.
it like that.
Somebody's always profiting.
It's not broken. It's working as intended. It's that it was intended to work unfairly. Okay, the intention of the architecture of our society is unfair.
It is definitely set up to screw everybody over, and it's in the name of terrorism. It doesn't stop terrorism. It doesn't inhibit terrorism. It doesn't inhibit the drug dealers or the drug kingpins from doing all the bad stuff that they, and I'll put bad in quotes because I don't personally think it's all that terrible. At least not the selling and dealing in the business. Obviously, if you only have, guns at your disposal to resolve issues, then those guns are going to be used instead of the police using those guns. But it's not like it's any, I don't know that it's any worse than the guns doing the murdering than, you doing the murdering, if that makes any sense. At one way or the other, when business is involved, somebody is potentially going to be murdered. It just, whether it's a legal industry,
wow, that escalated quickly.
When it's a legal industry, it's just the cops doing the murdering as opposed to the business doing the murdering.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
No, I mean it's exactly, that's the real world. I mean, people get shot every day because somebody robs a store. Instead of the owner going out and shooting the suspect, it's the cops that go out and shoot the suspect.
It's outsourcing.
Yeah, it's all it is. And so we talk about how bad the drug business is because people are getting shot. Well, you know what? People are getting shot by the cops too. So if you legalize it, it's not like there's going to be less people getting shot. It may make things a little bit better in that there's less of a reason to to call the cops because you have other means of resolving business disputes. So it's better if it's legalized, but it's certainly not like it's not like that there's going to not be people murdered just because it's legalized. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's just people get murdered for shoplifting too. It's just nobody makes it into this big issue of, well, we got to ban stores because people are getting killed by cops, right? Like, I mean, it's a stupid thing to argue, and yet that's exactly effectively what they're arguing for why you need to ban drugs. Well, it's not like the business, if you ban the stores from operating, that the stores are going to stop operating. No, they're just going to go underground. They're still going to operate, and then instead of the cops killing people, the owners are going to kill people because they have no other recourse to resolve disputes. So
yeah.
Well, it's literally 3 hours of
that was a lot of talking.
It was.
Did I talk enough about crypto coins?
I think we've gotten our crypto.
I hope some underground radio people are out there listening to this, like
crypto covered for months and months on end at this point.
I just really hope like some people under a bridge and somewhere in the EU are like having a rave listening to this or something like that. So,
so he's talking about the pirate radio stations that this show airs on. There are some pirate radio stations out there covering.
Oh, and if you guys want to learn more about Hush, there's myhush.org, or you can just look up HUSH Hush, like in like Blockfolio or whatever crypto coin tracking app. We're in most of them, so learn more.
Check out freedomdecrypted.com if you're on a pirate radio station and listening, or cable or satellite or something like that. You can sign up for our Mastodon.
We have a Mastodon too. We toot.
Oh, what's your you toot? Wait, great. What's your Mastodon?
I don't even know what it is, dude.
Oh, you don't. How can we find it? Go to hush.org.
Oh, we're on like
no, it's myhush.org, right?
Yeah, it's like it might be myhush.org/Mastodon might be the redirect, but
you can probably find it from myhush.org though too, right?
I think so. We tweeted about it. It's very new. Like someone set it up for us. A person that uses Mastodon. I think we're on like the weird.
I hope it's not one of the socialist exchanges because you're gonna get banned.
We're on some similar Mastodon. I think it's like an open source projects Mastodon or something. It's not just a crypto coin Mastodon. We're part of a larger,
like Liberdon or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, Fostodon.
Okay.
That's what we're on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you got to be careful. There's
some weird ones. We're not on Gab and stuff. I mean, I'm not against it, but whatever. Yeah.
Gab actually. Okay, so funny story. We'll make this really short.
We're 4 minutes over,
but
Talk
we
fast.
are. I know. Gab actually has a lot of content and a lot of different discussion, and it's actually one of the most popular.
I support freedom of speech
servers for like Mastodon.
And so, I don't even know. There's a lot of hate towards Gab. I don't even know all.
It's more than just people hate. It's more than just white supremacists apparently on Gab, or they've got other.
Here's the thing: whatever the guy
servers.
or the women or the people that run Gab, they have their own personal ideas, right? Like they have their own personal beliefs. I think what happened is that a lot of people don't like the personal beliefs of the people who run Gab, right?
Well,
but I haven't used it, but it seems like there's this huge world of they care about freedom of speech. They might not censor hate and violence as much as people like, and I think that's maybe why people don't like them. But they're like one of the few places to maybe get freedom of speech on the internet right now. So
what I think. I don't know if this is the case, but I think what the problem is that basically there is a liberty-leaning individual who's behind Gab who may or may not be actual white supremacist.
Yeah,
and I think
I've seen it. I've seen it. Like someone that works for Gab says stuff. It could be like me, like just says something to get a rise out of people, and. If you're working on a whole system to give people freedom of speech, you're going to make sure people know that you're going to have some freedom of speech.
So my understanding is that they're very strict from a libertarian perspective, at least, on not just banning people, and the left doesn't like that, right? So it's not that Gab was.
I've never used it actually, but I have people do post about Hush on Gab.
My understanding is that Gab is not a white supremacist platform. Never was intended that way.
No, it's
just that's where a lot of the white supremacists went.
Yeah,
because
it was the only safe place for anybody to go, and so all the friggin' Nazis who I hate Nazis. Let me say it again. I hate Nazis. They went to somewhere that they could talk. I mean, they had so few places. I mean, Twitter banned them, Facebook banned them, everyone banned them. So
if you are so tolerant of freedom of expression that you're willing to put up with all the white supremacists and Nazis and stuff that are on your platform, I mean, you can't get any more libertarian than that.
And let me, verify that too. Like, I hate Nazis, but I can't read what you write in the encrypted field of Hush, so I don't know what the fuck that you write.
And that's the way it should be.
That's the only way it can be. And I don't support hate. I don't support violence. I hate Nazis, but I can't prevent them from having freedom of speech.
If you want to protect everybody else, you got to protect the Nazis and the white supremacists and the murderers.
That's where we agree. Like, I think that we need tech that protects everyone. I'm not going to be buddies with people like Chris Cantwell, all right? Like, he's not my buddy, all right?
God, no, not mine either.
But, like, I do recognize that you can't have, like, a functioning society unless everyone has freedom of speech. And it's part of the UN Declaration of Human Rights. I just want to say that Hush believes in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and that everyone has a human right to privacy. It's actually in there. A lot of countries haven't actually signed it into the law, like the U.S.
That doesn't surprise me. All right. Well, that was a great show. I hope everybody checks us out next week. We're on every Saturday from 5 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. Check out freedomdecrypted.com. Check out thinkpenguin.com. Check out libertyminded.com. Great.
Buy stuff from
Liberty
thinkpenguin.com.
t-shirts.
Duke Lito says buy stuff from thinkpenguin.com. Support this awesome business that very few other similar businesses.
Yeah, support thinkpenguin.com. Support Freedom Decrypted. So that's basically what you're doing, because we're sponsoring the show. Bye, everybody.